celebrate our differences. We got to celebrate our differences.
Ooga booga doo, ooga booga doo.
We got to celebrate our differences.
For advertising opportunities for the following show, email us at cornerpubsports@gmail.com.
Welcome to the best pubcast around, Corner Pub Sports, bringing you sports, beer, and beyond. Catch the show live every Friday night at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Or get the show wherever you download your favorite podcasts. It's time to grab a cold one, kick your feet up, and enjoy the show. Welcome to the pub.
Hey, this is Jason Myrtetus from 97.5 The Fanatic and the Stick to Hockey podcast. And you're listening to the drunkest, craziest motherfuckers this side of the Mississippi. Corner Pub Sports on Wildfire Radio.
Sports.
Bunch of childs. That's right, the bunch of childs. Bunch of childs are back.
This side of the Mississippi, baby.
That's right. What is going on, everybody?
What's going on?
What's up, yo?
More nonsense and bullshit.
That's right. That's right.
Fuck with my ass, man.
we got a lively show for you tonight. Hopefully,
Ooh.
we have Jason Myrtetus, who you just heard his voice there. Stick to Hockey podcast, 97.5 The Fanatic, and who does the Flyers pre and post game shows on the radio. He'll be joining us. Obviously, we're going to talk hockey with him, and we'll see what else happens. It's always a great time when Jason comes on. I think it's been a little while since we had him on. I think it's been about a year, to be honest with you.
Yeah, might be longer than that, dude. Like, have we had him on since we started doing it this way?
Well, when he lost his job on the radio, he got like super busy, and then I think he lost one of his parents during that time as well.
He did, yeah. So yeah, it was
Probably like January.
You're probably right. It might have been a little more than a year.
January, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, guys. What are you drinking?
We know the answer for me, so
I know he's got rum and coke. Gary's got what is it?
Workhorse New England IPA.
Nice.
I'm just gonna have some Heinies today.
Heinies.
Grab a Heine.
Enjoy the headache tomorrow, Mike.
Nah, this is supposed to be to not get a headache.
Heineken's not headache beer.
Mm-hmm.
I just opened up a Northeast IPA, 77.1%er. It is Wrench. It's from Industrial Arts Brewing Company.
I had them before.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, they're creeper. Take it easy, bro.
Ooh, that's good.
That's a creeper.
That's a nice one. Nice flavor to it, man. It's not bitter. I can't
Sean,
stand it. I'm done with the bitter beers, man. I'm done with that shit. Yep.
Sean made up a new type of IPA.
No, it says Northeast IPA. That's what it says on here.
It doesn't say New England. It says Northeast.
It says Northeast.
A few of the breweries are doing a Northeast one now too, Mike.
Oh, I always thought it was New England.
It's a newer one.
I mean, this is they're in New York. I don't know if that has something to do with it. Or like, yeah, we're not calling ourselves in New England.
Yeah, probably. Fuck that New England.
Yeah, right.
Fuck Tom Brady.
So,
although New England's now saying fuck Tom Brady too.
Yeah.
Cuomo told him they didn't have to.
Yeah.
Yep.
As he was sitting in the frozen truck.
He was assaulting that girl.
Yeah.
We got a SSCS tonight. We got While You're Drunk, Corner Pop Popcorn. We got all kinds of stuff tonight, so it should be a lot of fun. Should be good.
It's going to be a wild one.
We're doing another special segment too. We're all going to go over 5 albums that blew us away.
You know, it was funny when Ryan came up with it because last week we did like the top 21 bands that mutated bands according to science. I'm like, oh, we're doing another band thing, this and that, and I wasn't really on board with it. And then like all of a sudden on Wednesday and Thursday, I started thinking about it, and then all of a sudden I just went into this deep wormhole, and like all I was doing was like it consumed me just trying to think of like what albums to put on there and text messages back and forth.
I'm going to be I'm curious to hear what everyone what everyone's choices are on that. So we'll do that a little bit later. But let's get into the Sixers. Let's talk some basketball because
I got a basketball, Jones.
They had a huge win over the Utah Jazz on Wednesday. So to close out the first half before they go on the All-Star break. So
a game they had no business winning.
No.
Why not?
They were down all game. It took like a miracle 3 from Mvpiid to get in or to get to overtime, and then they poured it on in overtime. Like it was a game that like it had the game had every indication that they were going to lose, and somehow they ended up winning.
Why?
That's what they paid the man
completely
for.
disagree with that.
You don't think that like Mvpiid like deciding to do like a step back 3 with somebody in his face, like on a fall away 3 off balance is like a high percentage shot?
No, it's probably a lucky shot, but the whole game, every time it went to 10 points, they went on a run. Like they stayed in the game.
Well, they did. Yeah, they did.
They had as much chance to win that game as the Jazz did.
Well, the funny thing is they stayed in the game, but every time that they knocked it down to about 5, all of a sudden the Jazz would make it back up to like 12 or something like that, and then it was just they just kept trying to chip away, and then the Jazz always had an answer the entire game until the fucking bench of all things came in and tied it up.
But the Jazz couldn't put them away, dude. The Sixers played that game. They almost played it like a road game. Just stay in it and give us a chance at the end of the fourth quarter. And I thought, I mean, I don't want to turn it into a thing or not, Mike, but I completely disagree that they had no business winning that game.
Yeah, it's all about perspective. I mean, I'm not trying to shit on the Sixers. I'm not saying that they played a bad game. It was a great game. It was a fun game. If they win or lose, that was a great, enjoyable game.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like the way that they ended up getting to, there's games where where the sun shines on you and you end up hitting some, crazy shot, the fucking quadruple bounce that knocked them out of the playoffs.
Right.
Toronto had no business making that shot. Kawhi Leonard had no business making that shot.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
I'm not even a fan, and Joel Embiid is just in a zone this season. There's no stopping him.
Yeah, I just read about the fact that he became the odds-on favorite, something like plus 160. So not even like a pretty heavy favorite.
Yeah,
ahead of LeBron and everything. Yeah,
it's Joel Mvpiid. He's first right now, like Mike just said in the rankings, I guess, or the odds, and it's Joel, and then it's LeBron
and then Harden.
No, it's Dame Lillard.
Oh, is it? Okay.
They have Lillard third. Harden's 5, and
Doncic's up there. Yeah.
4. Yeah.
That's good company, and he's number 1.
It's Jokic.
Oh, Jokic. Yeah.
I was going to say Jokic is probably up there too. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Jokic is 4. Yeah.
He's number 1 in all that company, and that's good company.
But you know what the funny thing about that is? Well, not funny, but the interesting thing about what Embiid's doing is he played against probably the top 2 defensive centers the last 2 games, and he dominated both of them. Mm-hmm. Between Turner and Gobert, or whatever. Yeah.
You think about it, even like Anthony Davis, like they didn't play last year because he was with the Lakers, but like he dominates Anthony Davis every time they played.
Yeah.
Like when he was with the Pelicans.
It's almost like he takes his game to another level when he knows that he's got something to prove.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, that coach he's playing for, that helps.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Like there's just a different vibe with the whole team. Like they all know what they're supposed to do, where they're supposed to be. Like they've completely bought in with Doc Rivers.
Yeah, I mean, if they got anything remotely close to what you were hoping from somebody like Danny Green,
right?
And if Carey kind of like played the way that he played at the beginning of the year, because like. It's the only problem with that team is that there's, Embiid's obviously amazing. Harris has been pretty solid, almost very consistently solid.
I would say he's pretty close, if not surpassing a career year right now. He's fantastic season.
Mhm.
So Simmons, I would say about 75% of the time is really good.
Mhm.
The other 25%, and then the rest of those guys, it's almost like a coin flip. You got guys like Curry, Danny Green's like 25, 20%. You got guys like Korkmaz who could light it up. Shake Milton's been somewhat consistent, but every once in a while he's throws in a clunker. Thibault's defense is awesome, but offensively
Can't shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's just so many of those types of guys on this team. It's just like if they all kind of figure it out, it's it's ridiculous. They're already the top team in the East. So
They still got to make a move, man. They got to make a move.
Yeah, definitely. I just wanted to hit on Steve's comment. He just dropped in the chat room there. Donovan Mitchell gets ejected at the end of the fourth quarter of the Jazz Sixers game and throws a tantrum and hits the Gatorade cooler and hits some random dude who's just sitting on a chair.
No, he did. No, to his defense, he did go up and
did go over, but
yeah.
I don't want to hear that the foul shot disparity and all this like
somebody took
you
shot up threes.
You shot 50 fucking 3-pointers. You're not gonna go to the line.
Right.
Like
yeah, and that's their game. That's
they jack up threes. That's like you looked at the game. I mean, the field goal percentage, the foul shot disparity, the turnovers, everything looked the Sixers' way, but they sucked from three, and the Jazz are just amazing from three. And
I mean, it's right there. It's right in front of you what the Sixers' strength is, and so it's not a anomaly that they got that they're a team that's going to score in the paint. They're a team that's going to get to the foul line. You know what I mean? They struggle from three. They've done that all year. When we thought they were getting some shooters on this team.
Yeah, I don't get that.
And look, Seth Curry's been, again, like Mike said, inconsistent. I guess overall, I mean, I've been pleasantly surprised with Curry. I think overall, I'm glad they signed him. I will say that. I'm glad they have him on this team. I think he's a good player. Danny Green has just been abysmal. I mean, he's been horrible. So
he hasn't been that good defensively either.
No, defensively horrible.
I think that's the problem with them right now. The fact that you have to start Seth Curry and Danny Green.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of them guys need to come off the bench. Danny Green, like it's kind of the JJ Redick factor. If you ask me, like when JJ Redick was here, yes, like when he was hot, he lit it up, right? But they never took advantage of JJ Redick's best aspect. Like JJ Redick off the bench is where you would really have taken advantage of him, because off the bench, you're not worried about that defensive line. Go in there and hit some shots. That's all we need you to do. And they got to make a move, man.
But the problem is what move can they make? Like, what can they give up? What are they going to be able to give up to make a move that doesn't impact their depth or doesn't?
Well, I was going to say Danny Green would look really good starting for the Toronto Raptors. You do that.
I mean, we talked about the fact that him, somebody like Maxey in a first rounder or something for Lowry, and that's still giving up a pretty decent amount for a older player on that contract. Maybe they do something like that. The article that I read about talked about giving up Curry and Green and a first rounder or something.
That's
wow,
ridiculous.
that's high.
That's ridiculous.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's a bit much. Doris Burke had something to say about it.
It's not just when you come, like it's how hard you come.
I hate Doris Burke. Doris Burke, she's awful.
You ever see her without glasses on though?
No.
She's pretty hot.
Is she?
Yeah, it's pretty hot.
All right, well, whatever. Doesn't make her a good announcer.
She's a good analyst. She knows her game. She knows the game. I just
don't.
I hope
anal list.
I hope we don't get killed for this. But does anybody else have does it bother anybody else listen to a woman call a basketball game?
No, not bad. No, I'm not bothered by it. Not by basketball.
It depends on.
Shut up.
No, I mean, Ryan, somebody like Doris Burke, it just seems like she's trying too hard, or there's just something about the way that she's doing it.
It's not just when you come, like it's how hard you come.
I don't know. I can't. I don't like her. I don't like Susie Colbert. Like Aaron Andrews and stuff like that. Now, I guess they're not calling the games.
They're not calling the game, but I don't know. The football, when I've heard football games, that I couldn't.
You're right back. I got to take this.
All right. That I couldn't really get behind, I guess. But the baseball, I had no problem with it. ESPN has the one that does it. Basketball, I had no problem with it. And
what about Hatcher for the Flyers? She does a good job.
She's not
called
the game. She does a lot more than she definitely does the job.
Fuck her right in the pussy.
Get it all over her shorts.
You got it all over my shorts.
Sure. That's. I guess I'm not getting her on the show at the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here's to you, Miss Hatcher.
Cheers. Bury that hatchet.
But no, I mean, I guess I haven't heard too much of the women announcing. I don't have a problem with it. I just, as long as they're doing it in a.
That's why I don't think I don't know. I'm a little surprised. Like I like Doris Burke. Her voice gets on my nerves a little bit. She does talk a lot. Like she.
What woman doesn't? Am I lying?
No, it's true, but I have no problem.
Like I said, I'll shut up.
Yeah, no. I don't have any problem with her. I think she knows the game. I think she does a decent job, and I think she's well respected because she knows the game. Steve, you guys are gonna get with that.
If you guys were going to get away with this, that's over now.
Yeah.
All right.
So you know what? While we are talking about the Sixers, before we wrap up the Sixers, because we do have a lot to get to before Jason comes on tonight. Real quick, because we didn't get a chance to bring this up last week. The Sixers' second half schedule came out last week.
Well, I mean, it's been out, right? Or did it just
2 weeks ago? The second half.
They didn't actually even announce what the schedule was.
It was
shit.
No, they didn't, because they didn't know what they were going to be going through with COVID and shit.
Well, yeah, I get that. I didn't know that they announced the first half schedule and then they were going to announce the second half later. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
All right.
So it's a tough one.
It's tough. So I'll run through really quick. Bulls versus Spurs, Knicks, Bucks. But here's where it gets kind of crazy. So you got the Bucks, you got the Kings. Okay, and the Knicks are playing decent. The Warriors, the Lakers, the Clippers, the Nuggets. That's a tough stretch. That's a really tough stretch.
There's a chunk towards the end of March too, where they start a 10-12 game road trip.
Yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games in a row. Is the Knicks, Warriors, Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets.
All on the road.
And then
that's the West Coast trip. Yeah, the
Cavs, who they lost against the
God
Timberwolves.
Damn it, the fucking Cavs, man. That's the second time they beat them this year.
The Timberwolves, they haven't played Minnesota yet this year, right? The Timberwolves. No. So you got the Timberwolves, the Grizzlies, the Celtics, and then there's a 3-game stretch again. Celtics, Pelicans, Thunder, Mavericks, 4 on the road. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then you're getting towards the end here. You got the Nets, Clippers, Warriors. It gets tough again. Suns, who are a good team. The Bucks, the Thunder. You can beat the Thunder. You got a back-to-back home and home against the Hawks. Then you wrap up. Go ahead. What's that?
Well, who always play them tough for some reason?
Yeah, Atlanta's not doing as well. They're surprisingly bad this year.
Yeah, they just fired their coach.
Yeah, well,
I gotta remember. I gotta look it up. A hockey coach just got fired last night. Calgary Flames.
Yeah,
got fired after a big blowout win. Then he got fired.
They brought Ron Sutter back.
Ron Sutter, yeah. So then they wrap it up with the Bulls, Spurs, Rockets, all on the road. Pelicans, Pistons at home, at the Pacers, at the Heat, and then home against the Magic to end the season before they end as the number 1 seed going to the playoffs.
Hopefully, man. How many wins you think it takes?
What are we looking for?
For number one.
Yeah, I'm going to say 50-51.
I was going to say you can't lose another.
They can lose. If you ask me, they can lose 10 more games.
I was going to say about 8, like because the Nets are coming on.
Yeah, the Nets are scary. I mean,
they're about to sign Blake Griffin too.
Yeah, I heard that.
I mean, he might actually be pretty decent with them though.
Yeah, it gives them something on the inside, dude.
And it gives them if they start him, right?
He can shoot too. He's another 3-point shooter for them.
Yeah. I'm not really worried about Blake Griffin shooting threes.
He might end up wide open though, Mike. If you're covering Joe Harris, you're covering that other idiot that's on there.
He'll be wide open.
Fuck with my ass, man. Shit.
I think the Sixers should sign him just so the Nets don't.
Don't it feel good?
I like the shit at the end.
Fuck with my ass, man. Shit.
Woo!
Did you guys know that the pool in the Titanic is still filled with water?
Shut up, Sean.
Oh man! All right, we good? We go on the Sixers for now.
Best
I
part
mean,
of that was when the boat sank.
You never. How many wins do you think it takes, Sean?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I said they can't. I said eight more losses.
All right.
That's all they can take.
Mike?
Yeah, that's about where I'm at. I don't think they get first. I think they get second. You know what? I'm just surprised at how the Nets are doing it. Like they have zero depth.
Mm-hmm. And Durant's hurt.
All right. I will say this about the Nets, though. Like you've even seen it with Harden in the past in the playoffs. Like he kind of fizzles out in the playoffs. I don't know if, and this may be me being a Sixers fan saying this, but I don't know if they're
built for the playoffs.
Pardon the pun, hardened. You know what I mean? Kyrie Irving has a shoulder thing. He's always got an ankle or a hamstring thing. Kevin Durant, like this.
The one time it was with the Warriors.
Right. That this hamstring thing is lingering now, which is usually a common thing when you come back from an Achilles injury. And again, James Harden will play 50 minutes a game if he needs to, but he kind of, the past few years, he fizzles out in the playoffs. Like you see the fatigue in him. So
yeah, he's old and tired.
That's one thing that's kind of a silver lining to me with
Yeah, but you know what? The other thing is, and it sucks because I don't think they're going to do it, but getting that number 1 seed and having Milwaukee and the Nets play each other would be huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that way you ain't going to go through both of them?
Yeah, let them beat each other up. Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. Well, second half is going to be fun. Like you said, it's a really tough schedule.
But just find out a lot about them.
Yep, for sure. And hey, for the most part, real quick, a grade, the first half grade. What would you give them?
An A.
They exceeded my expectations. I didn't think they were going to. I said they're going to. No, look, the season's not over, but I said they were going to finish as a 3 seed because I just thought they were going to take them a long time to kind of get going. I was wrong, man. They hit the ground running. Now, they've had their lulls, but every basketball team's going to, especially 72 game season. But,
imagine if it wasn't a COVID thing, dude. They probably lost 4 games because of COVID.
Yeah, because Simmons wasn't there, and they were undermanned for a couple games.
There was 2 games where they had 8 guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I was going back. I was going back and forth between A- and A. A couple clunkers, this and that, but what it comes down to. They're in first place at the second half, and none of us expected them there. They're way exceeding expectations. It's an A. It's a solid A.
Mm-hmm.
No. All right.
They have a legitimate. I mean, I don't want to keep going, but they have a legitimate shot at MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and Coach of the Year.
Coach of the Year has got to be in consideration for sure. Yeah.
What were they, like the 6th seed or something last year? And now they're a 1 seed?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a big jump.
I mean, they made some changes, obviously, personnel-wise, but that is quite a jump for them.
Yeah, but I mean, even without it, I mean, every one of their big three is playing better this year. And Tobias Harris taking over that game in overtime was.
Yeah, Harris has been the X factor, really. I mean,
and we called it though. Like when they signed Curry and Green, like we called it that he's not their number one shooting option anymore.
Yeah,
and that's like the pressure's off him. Like he's just playing.
And under Doc Rivers' scheme, we thought that Tobias had a chance to do something different here, because Brett Brown I don't know what it is, man. He had this certain way. He had the Doug Peterson syndrome. He just didn't want to.
I want to build a bomber. Gonna build a bomber.
Give me a bomber. I'm gonna shoot it from downtown.
What is shit?
Yeah, I don't know what.
He's in trouble.
Yeah, he's getting a blowjob. Shouldn't take long.
Oh yeah, oh, yeah, flick that bean, yeah.
Right, he's done already.
Open your mouth wide and take it. Got it all over my shirt.
Hey guys, what are you talking about? Oh, nothing.
Hey, what's going on? All right, SSCS time.
See me, cocksucker of the week.
And this is why.
You cocksucker! I'll punch you in the mouth.
Mike, you want to go?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I thought about the Texas Mississippi mask mandate thing, but you know what? I think I'm going to do. I'm going to go with the social media fake news, or just the outrage and everything that just goes on with every single thing that happens. The Mr. Potato Head thing, the Dr. Seuss books. Like, no one reads a thing. Nobody does a thing. Everyone just kind of, hears one whisper of one iota of something that happens and just absolutely goes fucking berserk about it. And everybody goes on here and then it's a political thing, and it's this and it's that. And it's just everybody just needs to calm down, and this fucking false reporting, all this shit, it just needs to stop. It's exhausting.
What kind of world do we live in when you have to take Dr. Seuss books off the shelf? But a song called "Wet Ass Pussy" is the number one song in the country.
Yeah, but you know what the thing is it was it technically taken off the shelves? Was it fully taken off the shelves, or
no,
was it
not fully? But eBay and Amazon took certain books off.
Yeah, but you know what the thing is that I just read, and Rachel posted, and I know that Rachel's kind of definitely on one side of the spectrum. She posted something about the fact that it wasn't anybody else. It was the owners of the Dr. Seuss books that took it off the shelves, that looked at it and said, this might not be the best thing in this day and age to be putting on the shelf. So it wasn't, and it happened a year ago. And it's just kind of, I guess, because Dr. Seuss Day came up, and it was like, everybody talked about schools banning. Apparently it was like one sector of Virginia or something that did it. And it just became this viral sensation. It became much more blown up than it really needed to.
Like, these books have been out for fucking years. They're classics. Now all of a sudden they're going to cause a problem. Get out of here with that fucking.
But again, I don't know if it's causing a problem. It sounds like it's just it's just
like a media-driven thing.
1/10 or 100%. It's media-driven, and then all of a sudden, it catches on social media, and everybody hears Dr. Seuss banned and just goes berserk, and it becomes.
That's because they got some. They got a cocksucking millennial as their fucking public relations guy. Let's get them off the shelves. Let's stir this up. Get out of here with that. Leave them books alone. Yeah, cocksuckers.
There's books alone. That should be the name of the show. Leave those books alone.
You cocksuckers.
So anyway, that's it's not even the books. It's not it's just the
people.
Just people.
Social media. People in general.
Seeming swallowing cocksucker of the week.
I think we just explained who that was.
I'll punch you in the mouth.
Go ahead, Rye.
I'm gonna go with So last night that game with the Jazz and the Sixers. But overall, in the NBA, it's every fucking foul call. There's somebody.
Yeah.
It's every fucking whistle. Every single whistle.
Complaining.
Right. The refs are not going to get every call right. They're also not going to get every call wrong. You could call a foul on every single play that goes into the post. every single play.
Yeah. You know what? You know who's one of the worst of it? That Tice guy from Boston.
Oh my God.
Talk about a semen swallowing cocksucker. Like that dude just like everything. It's just like, dude, stop.
You know who's really bad with it too is Luka Doncic.
LeBron's bad too with it.
Yeah.
Always crying. He's always acting like he just broke an arm when he falls. Holding his head.
Somebody blows on him and he fucking hits the deck like he got shot.
And that's why people don't like him. Is because
he's another he's one in particular. Like they're not going to let a call go on you,
right?
So stop fucking bitching.
All right.
Like, you get 90% of the calls that you shouldn't.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that's why he does it. He's going to keep doing it for that reason, bro.
Well, he's playing to win. He's playing to win. He's working the refs because that's what gives him the competitive advantage. In a sense, I get it, but
Fucking
it's still
bags.
It's still annoying.
Seeming swallowing cocksucker of the week. And this is why.
You cocksucker! I'll punch you in the mouth.
Gary, do you have one?
I do.
All right.
You guys are going to be a little upset with this one. Carter Hart for his in-net struggles. Come on, buddy.
You're the only one that's going to be upset with that, man. You're the one that called them multiple Vincent Trophy winners. Before
it's still early.
His skates never touched the ice at the Wells Fargo Center, and this dude said multiple Vezina Trophy winners.
Why is he an SSCS of the week when his last start was a shutout?
Well, you know.
Just got to, even a blind squirrel gets a nut.
Jesus.
Oh, so now he's just a blind squirrel?
Oh, my God.
No, I didn't say any of that.
Gary.
Relax.
Did you just call him a nut? The fuck?
English, motherfucker, do you speak
All
it?
right, we go.
He's like a leaf in the wind, swaying around back and forth.
Of the week. And this is why.
You cocksucker! I'll punch you in the mouth.
Just call me Shake Milton.
Mine is Les Miles, the former LSU coach.
Nice.
A bunch
Well
of stories came out where basically he was inviting like underage girls to his dorm, his office, or whatever, and was sending them inappropriate text messages, and then have them come into his room. And apparently, like, first of all, why would you go to it?
Be right back.
Why would you go to this guy's room? I know, like, oh, it's the football coach.
She said she was 18, Your Honor. Who am I to call her a liar?
So he's talking about like under 18-year-olds?
Like underage, yeah, they were underage. I mean,
Well, underage is under 21, Sean.
No, is it underage?
Underage.
18. I mean, it doesn't make him any less of a scumbag, but at least is he a criminal or is he just a scumbag?
I think it's just he's just a scumbag. He didn't do anything. He didn't rape him or anything like that. He didn't.
Right.
But apparently,
he's a 30-year-old man.
He would have them come into the room, and like apparently they would feel really uncomfortable. Like, he would say or do like really kind of weird things, and so he's being called out on the carpet for it. And these are stories apparently for years. I mean, for a long time ago. And obviously, this since he was the coach, he's not the coach anymore of LSU. This is while he was a coach. So the stories are now coming out. So
you dirty old man.
Yeah.
Oh, he finally retired. What did he retire?
Yeah, he's not the. It's what's his face?
He's friends with Sandusky.
I knew it was coming back.
Oh man. Nah, it's he was fired back in like, I don't know, 13 or 14. They got that dude that talks like Yosemite Sam now.
That's Ed Orgeon.
Yeah, there you go. This is what I think we're going to do.
Well, we did some good recruiting. That's why we won the national title. You see, it sounds like he's going to have a heart attack.
Fucking Yosemite
rabbit.
I'm going to get my rifle and I'm going to shoot him this one day.
Goddamn, she's my sister's cousin's uncle, my sister's brother.
See, what happened here is I got this job because my brother was fucking my sister, and my sister is the head of the athletic department.
It's got my goddamn wife.
Just kick your sister in the chin already.
my brother got my sister pregnant, and now that kid is now he's my love child.
Spit it out, you cocksucker.
That's what Ed Orgeron's trying to do.
All right, so
I'm gonna get my rifle. I'm gonna shoot him. That's what I'm gonna do.
Guys, what I missed.
Mike leaves. It comes back.
I see we're on the same topic from like 2 minutes ago, and I got my beer.
So while we're talking about
you gonna suck it?
You're gonna suck yourself. The Eagles are they made some moves or are talking about making some moves. I think the big one of the week is Jason Kelsey, and the only official one really is Jason Kelsey is returning for one more year. I don't know about you guys, but I got it.
Jalen Hurts has got to love that idea.
I was worried about that. We went back and forth about it in our group chat a couple weeks ago. I was worried about having to replace a center. First of all, he's still an all-pro center, and he don't
miss games.
No, he
doesn't miss games.
Even dude, he even
he does get hurt. He just doesn't come out.
Spray Windex on it. I'm going back out.
Straight up.
You're getting Lane Johnson back, maybe Brandon Brooks if they bring him back, if they don't cut him or whatever. You know, you have a lot of holes on this team. You can still draft the center late in the draft or whatever, but he doesn't have to come in and start right away. It just makes it made me feel a little bit better knowing that. And
yeah, I don't even know if it needs to be late in the draft. I mean, he can still tutor like. Shit, they want to get in the third round.
Replace him.
They want to get a guard center, something like that in the third round. I
wouldn't mind it in the second round.
I mean, centers in the second round's a little early usually.
But I hear that. But they have so many holes that if there's
big holes in her underwear.
If there's a guy in the second round where you're like, oh wow, he's still there. Take them. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, if it's a guard, like I said, a guard center combo, or if there's like a Pouncey type center, first round talent center that's there in the second round. Go ahead,
Dave. I think you'll see that in 2 years.
Dave, we could do a whole show on that topic.
So Dave's question for those who can't see it: how long will we have to wait to have a winning football game, a winning football team again in Philly? And yeah, I think you're looking at 3.
Yeah, I would say that in the third year, if things go right and they get themselves out from under this,
see, that's where I come in with this. Like, I'm not saying I hate bringing Jason Kelsey back, but you're hearing they restructured Brandon Graham, they restructured Darius Slay, that they're probably going to restructure Lane Johnson. It's the same. Like, are we going to be in this hole? Are we going to be in this hole in 4 years again?
The only thing with Kelsey,
they have to have tent poles, right? Because there's so many needs on this team that like it's going to be decimated. So they have to have tent poles somewhere.
So then blow it the fuck up and just fix it.
Yeah, I get that, but you can't get rid of everybody and start all over. You
Why?
can't. It's because it doesn't work.
Well, it doesn't matter if it works this year.
You can't do that.
Why?
You gotta have some stipple. You gotta have some pieces.
Okay. You gotta have somebody to teach the new guys that are coming in.
I understand that, but
so Brandon Graham on one line, Kelsey on the other line. That's good for Lane Johnson. Obviously,
that's leadership.
That's good. You have to have some leadership, especially when you're going to get younger. I mean, they can't spend any money this year, so you're going to be a much younger team this year. So you have to have some sort of stability.
It just scares me. Well, it seems like the same.
It seems like they're getting back into the old habits of kicking the can. Like they have the opportunity to get it out from under, kicking the can down, kicking the can down the road, and instead of like getting out from under it, they're
kicking the can down the road
creating
again.
it. They're creating the same scenario 2 years from now.
Right.
I agree with what you're saying, Mike, but
it's just
you gotta-
scary.
The cap situation here in this team is so bad that you got to start somewhere. You got to do something somehow. I mean, you're going to have rookies coming in. You might sign a few free agents. You got to have money to pay some guys. You know what I mean? Because in your eyes, you're going to try to put something together where you can at least compete.
The thing
You know
with
what I mean?
so the thing, yeah, I agree. I think the thing though, Ryan, with Kelsey, I'm not worried about it with him because he might only have 1 more year and he's done.
That's
So,
a good point. And like, I'm not saying
Brandon
Kelsey in
Graham-
particular.
And Brandon Graham's getting up there. He probably isn't going to retire in a year, but he's getting older where when it's time for that big money, you can then cut him loose. Darius Slay bothers me a little bit.
Yeah.
He just came here. Now you're restructuring him over.
Which means you're probably stuck with him for another 3 years.
Yeah.
And I'm
Now,
not
Slay-
saying,
now,
I'm
Slay
not
was
saying he's
good.
right. I'm not saying he's not a good player, but he's getting to that age. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's not big play Slay no more.
Well, I wouldn't say that he's not.
He might be. He
still
might be.
one
He
of the
was
top-
really good last year.
Really good last year. He was in the top tier cornerback last year.
You get somebody on the other side that could play, and
It's just when the Eagles are viable again. Where's he at?
This is
Randall,
the thing, like-
Randall said it's going to be a bum season. I don't think any of us disagree with that.
yeah, and that's part of the reason why I'm like, screw it. If it's going to be bad, make it terrible and blow
That's
it up.
where I'm at. That's where I'm at, Mike.
But I get
not gonna-
but the organization's not going to see it that way. The organization's going to try and compete, and that's why they're going to restructure contracts and do all this shit.
You also get Hurts killed though.
Yeah. What I'm interested
Right.
in seeing is how in the modern NFL the young coach, because our coaching staff is extremely young. Are they able to adjust and adapt to the crap that they were handed?
Well, I mean, how did Doug Peterson adjust to the crap that he was handed to win a Super Bowl? What, 2 years in?
Doug Peterson had a potential franchise quarterback, though.
Yeah. And
Well, again, we don't know.
You don't know, dude. That's the only thing. Like to go back to Dave's question, and we said this: the best thing that can happen is that Jalen Hurts comes in and you see him working hard. Like, and we always see it, especially in this town. Like everyone gets so hyped up over practice videos and all this stuff, and the guy's working hard, and he seems like a really good kid. He seems like a smart kid. Comes from a good college
Hard worker, well liked.
Hard work, absolutely. I think he has a lot of respect already as a rookie last year. I think he gained a lot of respect for the role he had to take. You know, he should have honestly, all things considered, he should have been starting after game 8 last year. That's how bad it was.
So with this coaching staff, sorry, Sean, but with this coaching staff, I want to see him progress.
Right.
That's when you say, all right, this coaching staff might be able to do something. Like if he progresses this season, who knows?
Yeah, you don't. I think the bet that like of all that stuff you're hearing and all that stuff you're saying, I think the biggest thing that keeps you optimistic about Hurts a little bit is his confidence. Apparently, I think it was Kelsey who said it from day one when he started. Like he came into the huddle and he dominated. Like he, what's the word? What's the word?
Commanded the huddle.
He commanded.
Motherfucker, do you speak it?
No, Ryan, be careful, man. If you don't get your saying right, Sean's going to kick you out again.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. But he commanded the huddle, and he made eye contact with all of them. Like that huddle was his. So like the confidence that you hear that he has. But again, that's the word you keep hearing over and over about him is how confident he is in his abilities. So
yeah, so for the best.
It's good.
But he might not even be the starting fucking quarterback. So
yeah, they could still draft somebody at 6 for all we know. They could bring Ryan Fitzmagic in.
I think he has. I think he has a good chance, though.
I would look. We're gonna have a lot of draft talk coming up. You know, we haven't even touched it yet. But I think since you drafted him in the second round, you traded once away. The way I look at it, personally,
give the kid a shot.
If Hurts isn't the answer, then you're going to be picking in the top 5 again next year. Then you take a quarterback. If you're the answer and you see, Just build weapons around him.
Right.
You have 3 guys that can really help your offense at the skill position. Two, maybe 3 wide receivers if you include Waddle in that, and a tight end who seems like he's a game changer. So you can really immediately impact that offense and help him out because you need weapons because you don't have any. You have nothing.
But honestly, how's it that? I mean, we all know Jalen Hurts is athletic. If anything, he's athletic. He could be a playmaker.
His passing accuracy is the problem.
Right. So, but how does this offense look on it? Like you got Jalen Hurts starting,
Sanders and
Miles Sanders, Jamar Chase, and Jalen Reagor.
I feel a lot better about
speed.
Greg Ward and Fulgham.
Yes, that's speed and athleticism all across the board, man.
Don't forget you're going to have too, the guy from he sat out last year.
Colston.
No, we got him from the 49.
Good one.
Oh, I thought they're going to cut him.
Yeah, they're probably going to cut him.
They're probably going to cut him. Yeah. He's
dude. I'll tell you what. I don't know. I can't say with 100% certainty, but I really, really may consider not watching a football game if they draft Trey Lance or whatever that North Dakota State quarterback is.
Yeah,
if they draft him,
Even Justin Fields.
Ohio State quarterbacks don't transition well in the NFL, man.
Hey, you leave Bobby Holding out of this.
I'm trying to think of the last Ohio State quarterback that was.
There's not one.
They don't do well in the NFL.
What do you guys think about Derek Barnett being let go, possibly?
It's time.
He's going to be due $10 million.
Yeah, he's a bust. He's a bust.
It would put him in the top 15 range of defensive linemen. Right now, I think he's ranked like 54th.
I mean, I'd like to have him here. I don't want him here for for $10 million though.
Yeah.
He's hurt a lot. He takes stupid penalties. He doesn't make enough plays. Like he makes a play here and there.
It just sucks giving up on a first round draft pick like that.
But personally, I think Josh Sweat is the better choice.
And he's cheaper.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you're not losing much between the two of them.
Right.
And Josh Sweat's relatively young too, right?
Yeah. Like I love that pick when they picked him, but he looks like a bust.
Yeah, it's part of probably my issue.
So he goes to another team.
Yeah.
Who? Sweat?
No.
Barnett.
The Packers will pick him up and he'll blow it up.
What do you? What about Brandon Graham? Do you want them to keep him?
I like that idea.
I think
like
he's the one veteran to me that I don't care if his play deteriorates. I want to see him retire an Eagle. That play he made it to win the Super Bowl. Like we don't win the Super Bowl, he doesn't make that play. Tom Brady was going to take them down the field and score.
I feel the same way about Jason Kelsey.
All right, I mean, I'm not saying Kelsey. Like I'm not saying.
No, I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? But Brandon Graham's the one.
Kelsey.
Fuck with my ass, man.
But Graham's the one I want to see. Like that sentimental thing. I want to see him retire an Eagle.
Grab a hold of this Viking beard, boy.
I don't know. I'm weird like that with him, with Kelsey, only because
speech. It's the speech.
Dude, it's all that. It's everything.
Yeah.
It's the way he plays, the leadership. He's always open about everything. He's
a Philly guy.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I seen a meme today on it's Jason Kelsey at the podium and he's in the Mummers Get Up, right? And it says Eagles restructuring contracts. It's the whole damn team.
Good.
That was great, man.
I'll never forget that, man. He was crowd surfing, like
he was hammered.
He was
hammered, dude. It was great.
Dude, I'll never forget that. He's sitting there and he's holding back. He doesn't want to curse. He's saying every other word. It's like freaking, and then all of a sudden he lets out one F-bomb, and then floodgates opened up, and then all of a sudden, it was great.
You see Jay Ajayi like Just laughing at it, loving it, man. That was awesome. Yeah, I'm glad he's back. I'm glad they're going to keep him, and hopefully he retires as an Eagle. I know you don't care about the sentimental thing. It's with Kelsey, though, with me. Yeah, I don't want to see him play somewhere else. Unless he just retired, that would have been one thing. I mean, what are you going to do? But, yeah, I think this is going to be it for him now. I'm surprised because what he knows what the city. He's not a dummy. No one on the team's looking at. I don't know. Maybe when you're playing on teams, it's different. But you're having a transitional period. You have a new coach, a new quarterback, all this stuff. It's like I'm probably not going to win this year, but you don't fucking.
Brandon Graham said it. All but said it was going to be a tough year.
Yeah.
So the thing is like I'm always the numbers guy, and I'm always the one that's going back to it. These guys that you're paying this year. Like if you're saving the money this year, you're able to allocate it. Like they allocated money from this year to build the cap down that they knew was bad this coming year. So the money that they're not using this year. So if they didn't keep Kelsey, if they didn't keep Graham, that money would help them to kind of get out from under where they are more quickly. That's the one side. Of the other side is the sentimental value, and it's kind of like they're going to be bad. What's $10 million in cap space that they'll get out from under in another year after this? Like, is it really going to matter even possibly next year?
Right.
Probably not. Like
so
maybe
it's okay.
Yeah. But Kelsey said, apparently today, he said last year was a tough year. I don't know where this team's going next year, but he wants to make sure they're just left in good hands, he said.
Okay.
And right now, I don't feel like I would leave the position in good hands.
I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. I think they would have been in a little bit of trouble. The good thing, though, I don't think this is going to take a long. And go back to Dave Peterson's question again. I don't think this is going to take long because the following year, not this year, the following year, they're going to be in a surplus. They're going to have money to spend. So
that's why I say 2 years.
Yeah, getting honestly, I mean. Yeah, we all hate that it went down this way, but getting Wentz,
next year it's
2022,
out, right?
2022. There's money.
Yeah, we know no more his money.
That's
what I thought. I thought that if
man.
they traded him, that they got rid of all the money.
Right. It's just this year.
This year, that cap money.
Right. So going into 2022, his contract's off the books completely. Like that frees up a ton.
Yeah.
Right. Right. So for 2023, you got to start planning now.
Yeah, definitely, bro.
That's what we were just. Yeah, I mean, that was my point. That was what I was getting to with some of the sentimental picks.
And we're not getting into the draft yet, right?
No.
Yeah, we gotta stuff to cover, right? We gotta move on.
Well, you were drunk.
I am not drunk, man. You're trying to make me drunk.
It's time to catch up on some things you may have missed.
Do you think a six-pack is acceptable?
While you were drunk.
I'm drunk and I love cats. What more do you need to know?
So here's some things you may have missed while you were drunk.
Drunken pussy.
Things that happened over the past week. So Jeremy Lin, did you guys see this story?
Yes. I knew you were going to fucking do this. I knew it.
Come on, let's hear the story.
So Jeremy Lin, it was pretty upset. He claims that he didn't name the player, I don't believe. But he said an opposing player called him coronavirus on the court.
And he said, no, thank you.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, look.
May stop eating fried bats, you cocksucker.
No. Here's the thing, man. Like, look, we don't know who the player was. But when we're trying to eliminate shit from
this is why we got to get rid of fucking Dr. Seuss books.
Well, this is the thing. You're getting rid of Dr. Seuss books. Yeah, you're calling Jeremy Lin coronavirus on the court.
Yeah. It's on the grocery store, right? Straight
I gotta say this. That's pretty fucking funny. Like, I gotta be honest. That's fucking funny. That's pretty creative. So whoever the player was,
it ain't right, but it's kind of funny. Yeah. I felt bad laughing about it, but I laughed.
Send him shopping straight to the Wuhan market.
And this is why we don't have a nanny advertising.
Oh my god!
Apparently,
Thank you.
when he said it to Lynn, his eyes squinted a little bit. What'd you say? You guys are fucked up.
Yeah, we're fucked up, and you just feed right into it.
Yeah, look, you brought up the fucking story. You knew what you were getting into.
You knew what was going to happen.
Well, might as well stay on topic. Coca-Cola Company had an event, a seminar, an online seminar, where they were basically telling their employees to be less white.
Yeah.
Basically to say, don't be as confident, don't be as arrogant, don't be as what was the other one? Righteous. Some other things like that. Basically saying, be less white.
Basically, be Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder.
Like, what does that mean? Like, what is that?
Like, why is that not national? Like, oh my God!
I'm not getting into this. This is going to turn into something. Let's move on to the next subject.
It's just, it's just crazy.
It's a double standard.
It is. You can't reverse that. I don't know. It's pretty crazy.
All right. I mean, yeah. I was just shut up.
The Baltimore Orioles. So spring training officially kicked off during the week. The Baltimore Orioles' first game was Sunday, and Trey Mancini came up for his first at bat. He didn't even know there was only about maybe 1,000 people in the crowd down in spring training. They gave him a standing ovation, and they gave him some time, and the umpire gave him time and all. Well, here it was his first at bat since being diagnosed with colon cancer. He had colon cancer the year before. He missed the entire 2020 season. So Trey Mancini,
it hurts.
So Trey Mancini got
need a pillow to sit on.
Had a standing ovation. You fuck. Speaking of that, they say you fart when you die. Irv Cross, rest in peace.
You bust a nut too.
Irv Cross was what?
When you die, you bust a nut.
I had never heard that.
No, you don't. You're peeing your shit.
Nah,
you don't bust a nut. No, you don't.
I'm coming day and night.
What?
Irv Cross was 80.
Go get it.
Irv Cross was 8. Irv Cross was 81. Get the fuck out of here.
You can't get off.
Every week's the same shit.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh my God.
Well done, Sean.
So, Irv Cross was he played in the league for like 9 years. He played the Rams and the Eagles. I'm not laughing at that. We cut his daughter off. Oh, here comes the guy. I'm gonna put him back on. That's enough.
Get out.
I love the power of doing. Hi. Yeah, he was a long time announcer on CBS. He passed away this week, and he probably shit his pants. J.J. Watt went to the Arizona Cardinals. What do you guys feel about that?
A money thing. That was the team that was going to pay him the most. That's all it is.
I think he wants a ring.
Is he going to get? He's not going
to get a ring with Arizona.
Arizona has a good team, man.
They do, but you look at the Rams, and then if San Francisco's 100% healthy, the Arizona might be the third best team in that division.
You're forgetting Seattle or Russell Wilson.
San Fran is going to have a comeback season. They're going to get healthy. Yeah.
So I think his best bet would have been going to Green Bay. Like if he really wanted a ring, I think his best chance would have been Green Bay.
Yeah. Like you said, maybe it's a money thing, but again, no. I mean, how old is he? He's in his 30s now, right?
31 or 32.
hurt, it seems like every year.
Yeah.
You know, like he's just trying to cash in at that point. But he's trying. But I do think it was with a team that he thought could do something good.
Yeah. Like he wants to be on a good team, but and he wants to get paid. He wanted to get paid. I think he stated that actually. Like he wants to compete. He wants to be on a good. But I think he stated that he wanted to get paid. And he's got $23 million guaranteed over 2 years. You get that kind of contract in your 30s.
Yeah, with the injuries
and whatnot that he had. Yeah. And you're getting a great leader with him on the team. Garrett talking about JJ Watt.
There's another pass rusher on that line though that JJ Watt's really going to help. I forget what his name is.
So he gets hurt.
No, it's I don't remember his name either, and it's terrible. But he's like JJ Watt and this guy are like 1 and 2 in sacks over like the past 5 years or something.
Yeah.
JJ Avery or something, maybe Gerald Avery. Is that it?
No, that's the Eagles.
Yeah, that's
Avery. JJ Watt. He'll get hurt.
You're looking it up, Sean.
Yeah.
Oh, Samsonite. I was way off.
They got 2 good linebackers too. Actually, Michael Kendricks playing. Not Michael. Akeem Nicks.
Cletus can't. Oh no, Jesus. They've got Chandler Jones.
That's it.
Yeah. And they have Robert, the MD sheet, whatever season. They drafted him 3 years ago.
Yeah. They got the linebacker out of Temple and the one that played for the Eagles.
Got Marcus Golden. The one that played for the Eagles.
Hicks.
Oh, the linebacker.
Yeah. He had a really good year for
I
him
like
this
Hicks,
year.
man. I like Hicks. He just
couldn't stay on the field.
He's another one who got hurt, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And my last one, and we'll get to our albums segment. The last story is that MLB announced that June 2nd every year will now be known as Lou Gehrig Day, where they're going to try to raise awareness for ALS game-wide, which is pretty cool. I don't know if they're, what is actually going to happen there. I'm sure they'll do some video, montage and
no all wear his number. Everybody will wear his number.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, they're coming out with this now. I mean,
right? He's been, yeah.
I mean, he died of Lou Gehrig's disease. How did he not see that coming?
Right. Like, how did MLB not see this?
ALS, a long sleep.
Dude, what the fuck, man?
But yo, speaking of the MLB,
he said, "What the fuck?" As you write it down because you're going to put it in the
Speaking of the MLB, anybody see Bryce Harper's debut today?
I did not know. Heard he cut his hair.
Yeah. But 3 pitches in, hit like a 500-foot home run.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Good.
And that's it, dude. He's jacked. Have you seen him?
Dude, he's gotten bigger.
Great. That's great that he's doing that, but I would like to see him play a lot more. Like, play more small ball. Don't always go to kill it every time. You know what I mean? Like get it up. Get a double, get a triple. You know what I mean?
Not baseball now, man. That's not baseball.
And he bats 280 since he's been here.
I'm not discrediting what he does, Ryan. I'm just saying that's what I would like to see from him. I would like to see him play the scrappy baseball. You know,
I think his on base percentage last year was among his career highs ever. Like, granted, 60 games, but
yeah, and he also, I mean, that's 60 games, but he was on pace for like 120 RBIs last year.
Yeah, he had a good season last year.
And he had I think he had 120 the first year.
How many games do you think the Phillies win?
84. I'm taking them over 500. They don't make the playoffs.
I'll go with that.
86.
86 might get them in the playoffs, honestly.
It might, because it's expanded playoffs.
I mean, if their bullpen can get them 1.1 whatever more runs than they had last season, they're a much better base.
Again, scoring is not going to be the problem with them.
No,
right.
I'll go 83.
Yeah, I'll say 80. I'll say 500. I'm going to go 82 and 82.
Yeah.
81 and 81.
The Vegas over under is 80.5. So we all taking over.
I like between 86 and 90.
Wow.
You expect them to win 90 games?
Possible.
Wow.
If the
Man,
bullpen stays strong, they can do it.
They stay healthy. Look, if they stay healthy, I won't be surprised if they can win 87, 88 games. I won't be surprised because their bullpen
haven't done that in almost
right, but
12 years.
This offense, I mean, we know how good this offense is. The defense is the pitching is what sucked last year, and we know that. There's no surprise. That's no secret to anybody. So,
and it's Girardi's second.
It has to be better, and Girardi's second year, and a full training camp, a full spring training. They didn't have that last year. There was a lot of things, man. Just last year was just a wash. It really was. I forget who. I know the Dodgers won, but I had to think about who the fuck won last. Oh yeah, the Dodgers, because what's his name, Justin Turner had COVID and then ran back on the field without a mask on and fucking celebrated with his team. Fucking idiot. And then he got a fucking major payday this year. So
yeah, that was okay apparently.
Yeah. All right, cool. So we have about 20 minutes before Jason Myrtetus joins us. We're going to talk some Flyers with him. Before we do that, we're going to do a little thing here. Now, keep in mind this. We did it a few. I guess a couple months ago we did like a favorite albums or whatever. This is a little different. These are albums that completely blew you away. Music albums that blew you away. And anyone that's watching, you want to chime in with your list too. It's 5. Okay, so come up with 5 albums that completely blew your mind when you first heard them. I don't know who wants to. Gary, yeah, Ryan, yeah.
So I'm doing my whole 5.
No, I thought we were just doing one each, right?
Yeah, why don't you go through your list? Why don't you go through your list? We'll talk.
Okay.
About, yeah.
All right. So again, this is no particular order in what I like or anything. It's just the 5 albums I picked. So at the number 5, Dr. Dre, the Chronic.
Figured you were going to go rap at least one.
Yeah.
So why? Why did that?
Because when that album came out, dude, like I didn't know what rap was. I didn't know who the NWA was. I didn't know any of that. Like Dr. Dre made gangster rap cool. Like it was the thing to do. And that album from front to back, there's not a song on that album that you're not like, yeah, man. And you just bob your head. Like that whole album, like I was floored. Like I was blown away by that album.
Okay.
That's kind of that's really the only kind of rap to this day that I listen to. So, number 4, Mr. Asylum by Highly Suspect.
That's on my list.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be. That album's fucking. Oh, the guitar work for
that. It's so. If you don't mind, so when I first heard the song,
you guys have to get me a copy of that.
Yeah, the song Bath Salts. When I first heard that, I went, it's a straight ahead, cut to the chase rock song in your face and just boom, boom, boom. We don't have any but it's got an edge to it. It's not the cookie cutter shit you hear on the radio.
No, it's got a darkness to it, that album.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a post grunge, but like, yeah, it's hard to describe. It was. But it's so good and it's so catchy, but yet it's like you said, it's dark. It's got a darkness to it. The content of that album is dark,
and it's original in a state of music where originality is really missing.
And I think that's kind of why I think we were so attracted to it, is because during that time there was no rock groups coming out that you were like, holy shit, this is something different. This, even though it was a similar formula of something you heard, it was a breath of fresh air because you're like, this is the next great rock band coming out.
Yeah.
And they had one other album after that was great. And then the next one that came out last year was not so great.
Which may be on another segment on this show down the road.
Yeah, I think it will be. But yeah, that's on my list, Brian, for sure.
This one might be, actually, I might have 3 that you may have on your list. Number 3, Wasting Light from the Foo Fighters. When this album came out, like the Foo Fighters had consistently gotten better with every album. for like the last 3 or 4 albums leading up to this. But if you ask me, this is the quintessential Foo Fighters album. It's got everything. It's got a little bit of metal. It's got funk. It's got melodies, the guitar work. It's just a flawless album, in my opinion.
I had it on. That was the one I switched out because it's one of my favorite albums ever. But it was like you said, it was the quintessential Foo Fighters album. It's one of my favorite albums to listen to front to back. There's not a bad song on it or anything like that. But I knew who the Foo Fighters were, and I knew what they were. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You knew they were. Like, Color and Shape is a great album. Echoes, Patience, Silence, and Grace, or whatever. It's great album. They have some great albums. So I wasn't like, that's the only reason I took. I don't disagree with you. That's the only reason I took it off. I was glad it came out, but I wasn't like, blown away by it because I had heard them before. So
right, I got you. You. Number 2. All right, this album changed my life. I had been into a particular band that I'll get into for number 1. But this album changed my life. When I heard this, I was like, again, as a young kid, just completely floored so Black Sabbath.
Gary Boner.
That album completely changed the direction of my life with music. The Wizard, dude, the harmonica, the darkness of that album, the guitar work, Ozzy's vocals, it's all bluesy and fucking. It's just an epic fucking album, dude. The album that really sent me down the path of being the kind of music fan that I am.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Number 1, Sean, I'd be surprised if this isn't on your list. Number 1, again, there was a point in my life, this was all I listened to for probably about 5 years. If I had music on, this was the band I was listening to. The Black Album from Metallica. I'll never forget, I was sitting at recess, 7th grade, and my buddy Joe Rovar, check this out.
Yeah.
And at that up until that point, I was like a pop fan. I liked Michael Jackson. I liked Billy. Not that Billy Joel's bad, but I liked Billy Joel. So the kind of stuff that was real popular, I liked. And then I listened to this, and dude, to this day, I put that album on, and it still brings back memories from the first time I listened to it. Front to back.
It's a great.
Like that album probably defines who I am as a music fan.
Okay.
Who's this?
The Black Album from Metallica.
Okay. That was on my. That was actually on my honorable mention list.
Gary, Gary.
On my list. I got the Black Album, Black Sabbath, Foo Fighters, Wasting Light, Mr. Asylum from Highly Suspect, and Dr. Dre, The Chronic.
Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Number 5, Slipknot, We Are Not Your Kind.
What?
Band. Yeah.
Really?
Well, I was getting into Slipknot, listening to a little bit. My brother's telling me all about this. And then I heard that album, and I was just like, wow. Jesus Christ.
Oh, okay.
All right. Number 4, Metallica and Justice for All.
Yeah, that's probably perfect. Like your age, bro. Like when that album came out. Yeah.
On number 3, Metallica Master of Puppets, because it's the first Metallica album I ever heard.
Right.
That was the mother of my. That was the 2 honorable mentions that I had for Metallica.
Yeah, and Justice for All, I remember kind of feeling the same way because the first album I heard, and you know what, I'm going to say this right now, I don't have any Metallica ones on my list.
Oh shit! I thought you had one. I thought you had Ride the Lightning
on purpose.
Thought it would be typical.
It'll be too obvious. Like I can name.
I felt that like I was thinking that when I put the Black Album on it, but like I can't.
No, and it's so funny that you put the Black Album on, Ryan, because that's the album that everybody says that like they went like mainstream and they became.
That was the first one he really heard, right? So
yeah, that was the first album I heard from them.
I had Ride the Lightning was the first album I heard by them because I had a cassette tape. It was Queensryche on one side and that on the other side, and I remember just being hooked on Fade to Black. and Ride Along.
Next to me.
Just completely
Silent lucidity.
Yeah, I think it was that album too. The only thing, like, because Master Puppets and all, but I'm trying to think. The next full one I heard was the Black Album, but when I came around to Injustice for All, dude, I was actually a little scared.
Yeah.
Because the drums were so like.
That's a phenomenal album.
Yeah,
and that album is probably their most aggressive.
It felt evil. Yeah,
they are like madly pissed off on that album.
So I'd put Injustice for All in there for sure.
And I could probably make another list, and it would be all Metallica albums.
Like the next two, you guys would be like, all right, that's typical.
So Master Puppets was 3, right? Yeah.
Yes. Number 2 is Black Sabbath, Sabotage. Me personally, I think that's the heaviest.
That's Gary's favorite Sabbath album, album from his favorite band.
The first time I ever heard that shit, I was like, wow, what else they got on here?
Yeah.
And then I heard the Writ, which is the last fucking song on the album.
Yeah.
It's the best song on the fucking album. And then number 1, Master of Reality by Black Sabbath. Very first Black Sabbath. And I heard that on fucking vinyl.
That was in my uncle's list.
From Oog.
Yeah. That one was.
Dad says, you like Black Sabbath? I was like, yeah. He said, you ever hear Master of Reality? I said, no. He said, check this out. My mom was at work. He said, don't tell your mother I put this on the stereo.
Awesome.
Fucking Master of Reality and on vinyl.
That's pretty cool.
So, you ever see the Pope at the end of the rope? Scratch, scratch, scratch. Do you think he's a fool? Yeah. Great
Do you
stuff.
think he's a fool? Do you think he's a fool? Do you think he's a fool? Do you think he's a fool? Dave Peterson said Pink Floyd The Wall, Rush 2112, Back in Black by AC/DC. Dude, that's a great album.
That was good.
Yeah,
Appetite. I forgot about
Appetite for Destruction. That's a good one. See, the only thing with that, I was 6 years old when it came out, so I will say this. I remember being blown away by Use Your Illusion, November Rain, the first time I remember.
Dude, I remember, Sean, I'm sorry. I remember being a kid watching the fucking video and like, dude, it's like, oh my God, like, and fucking Slash on the mountain and shit, dude.
Yeah. I was sleeping. My mom went to the midnight release to Tower Records and stood in line and got the double album, both albums, and played it. I remember getting up for school like 5:30 in the morning, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" And I'll never that riff. I was like, "That is haunting. What is that?"
Yeah.
So that Use Your Illusion was on my that was one I was gonna put down, but I didn't.
Appetite for Destruction was on one of my many lists that I changed.
Dark Side of the Moon is his number 1. So Pink Floyd, big Pink Floyd fan there.
Yeah, I have them on my list. Well, more on that later.
Yeah, I'll go, and then Mike, if you want to go last, sound good?
Yeah,
let's do a shot.
No, I'm good. No particular order. I even though I kind of contradicted myself because I went, because I said
I think I know one that you're going to say.
I know who Foo Fighters was and all that stuff. I knew who Marilyn Manson was, but Antichrist Superstar. The first time I heard that,
I thought you might go there too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, that's one of my favorite albums too. So
that album is a fucking masterpiece. He's got 2 masterpieces. That one and the Pale Emperor, dude.
I literally had. I mean, I was a sophomore in high school when that album came out. I had chills. Going down my spine, and remember looking at that album and just every song, the God That You Fear, Tourniquet, all that. I'm like, oh man, this is crazy. Mr. Asylum by Highly Suspect. What's up, Joe? We haven't seen Joe in a little while. Joe Bucci.
What's going on, Joe?
What's up, brother?
What's going on, Joe?
What's up, brother? 1994. I ordered 2 albums at the same time. I was going to put them both on, but I didn't. One was Downward Spiral by 9 Inch Nails, because that was the first 9 Inch Nails album I ever heard, and I was like, but it didn't. It blew me away, but it made me feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that's a dark.
Yeah,
that is a real dark album.
I've never heard anything like that.
Yeah.
If I was to say blow me away more so with 9 Inch Nails, I would say With Teeth. The first time I ever heard With Teeth,
I had as an honorable mention, Pretty Hate Machine.
The
Okay.
one of my lists I did the Fragile was on it.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
Jesus Christ, there's 4 fucking 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah.
But the one I actually put down was the album that came with that I ordered from. Remember that, like the 10 albums for a penny.
Yep.
Or whatever? Korn's debut album in 19.
Yeah, that was on one of my lists.
Dude, that is literally on. That's on my honorable mention. So
Never heard anything like
Nope.
that in my life.
dude, remember?
You heard it? I'm like,
That's what I was gonna say. You remember when they talked about the opening song or something like there was something like that might be the most memorable or the most like
that or bad.
back.
Yeah.
Like no, but I'm talking about the first word that said, "Are you ready?" Like there may not be a better opening like lyric to a song ever.
Yeah, and like the build up with the cymbals.
Exactly. And all like build it all up to it, and you just hear that and they go berserk.
Yeah. My last two, and again, this is a band that I knew and I had albums of, but this album,
I think I knew this one.
Diamond Eyes was just incredible. Deftones, Diamond Eyes.
Oh, I thought you were going White Pony.
I like Diamond Eyes more. Now White Pony took me a little while. Diamond Eyes from the jump. Just
honestly, White Pony's the album. Like I always liked the Deftones. Like it's not that I disliked them, but White Pony's the album that made me like, holy fucking shit, these guys are unbelievable.
Around the Fur got me. But yeah, White Pony for me, I don't know. Fucking beer. Took me a little while. And I appreciate it a lot more than I did back then. And then my number one, I hope it's on Mike's list. I really do, because never heard anything like it when it came out. Nirvana, Nevermind.
Oh my god, how did I not put Nirvana?
I thought about it.
I wore the shit out of it, man. It was 45 minutes and it's just in your face and it doesn't let up until Polly. Polly's the only song and it's the last song.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. And it's just
and Utero's the same way, dude.
It is, yeah.
Up until All Apologies. And All Apologies isn't really like, a ballad or nothing.
No, not at all. Go ahead, Mike. What do you got?
It didn't make my list. So the first thing, obviously, I
Courtney Love
spent all day working on it. So
fucking.
I'll just get right into it. The opening tracks of all these are great. They're the ones that give me chills. They're the ones that, if you don't have an opening track, you didn't make it. Like when you're talking about an album that gives you that jolt, it has to start with an opening song.
Yeah, one of these. One Sean just said Around the Fur that, but think.
Yeah.
So Sean, I'm surprised you didn't have this one on here. The first one I'll say is Live, Throwing Copper.
I thought about it. It was on my list. Yeah.
So starts out with Damn It Otter Creek.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool opening, just kind of a chill type thing, and then just kind of really slow start, good build up.
We took the dead man in sheets.
Wild ending, great. Goes right into I Alone. Or no, goes into Tell the Drama, right. And then I Alone after that.
I can't remember.
Just goes.
Damn It on the Creek, Selling the Drama, I Alone. Number 4 is Iris. No, number 4 is Top.
More redneck.
No, it's Iris. It's Lightning Crashes. Then it's Top. Then it's Shit Town. Then it's Waitress. Then it's Stage. And then White Discussion.
So fucking good. That's it. You know what? The other thing that's got to be good on an album to really give you the chills and really kind of set you back is a great ending album. Mm-hmm. White Discussion is like unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's probably the best
you're talking about, baby.
Yeah. All right. Dave,
I defend you.
Dave, you're right up there with me. Your number one that you have, Dark Side of the Moon.
Dark Side of the Moon, yeah.
Starts with the heartbeat, the laughing, the screaming, bleeds right into Breathe.
Yeah, that's life. It's life, dude. Like the album is life.
It's so like it's a mellow chill. It's just a fucking masterpiece. Each song blends well into the next. You have to listen to it start to finish.
I'll tell you what. Listen to that.
Yeah,
one.
you can't listen to one song on that album. Like if
and not think of the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, well, that too.
To me, like if a song, like say I got my Spotify, my Amazon on, and I just got my soundtrack on, and it's just playing. Like if one song from that album comes on, I get like you have to listen to the whole album.
Yeah.
You know, Mike, not to cut you off, just one quick second. Another thing about Metallica, another reason why I left them off, because when Saint Anger came out, right, and you're like, okay, you know, like I listened, I was like, man, is something wrong with my stereo? Like I didn't know. If something wrong.
It sounds like you're hitting a fucking
like what the hell's going on there? But when Death Magnetic came out and the way that album starts, you just reminded me with the heartbeat. That was just your life. Yeah. That album, I remember I could not turn that album off.
Me neither.
Like, they're fucking back. They're fucking back.
And you want to talk about how to open an album? That was just your life, dude.
That's that riff. All right, go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
But the rest of it, like I said, I wrote up a couple of different things: time, money, us and them, and then Eclipse ending the song or to end is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right, the next one on here. Another one that I'm surprised that nobody had on here. Pearl Jam 10.
I thought about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another one opening that starts off with
I hate the heat. I gotta
it starts off really slow and then just build up into this and you just fucking erupt.
Dude, I could probably put 3 Pearl Jam albums on
versus 10
and Vitalogy.
Yeah, the first 3, yeah.
Vitalogy.
No, Vitalogy is their 4th album. No Code was their third album.
I thought Vitalogy was 4th.
Vitalogy was 3rd.
Yeah,
no Codes are 4th.
Yeah, Vitalogy came out in 94. No Code came out in 96.
Okay, so their first 3 albums I could have put on my list.
I got problems, dude.
But yeah.
How do you remember the exact fucking years, dude?
98 Yield came out. 2000.
That's another one I might be able to put on the list.
The only one I didn't like, the only Pearl Jam album I don't like that much is Binaural. That came out in 2000. I don't really care for that album.
But I mean, I know we all know it, but just reminiscing back once, followed by Even Flow.
Mm-hmm.
Then Alive. Why Go? Why Go is right after that. It's underrated. Then you get into Black, which is like
what a song.
Dude.
What a
and then
song.
Jeremy. Like you talk
and then, and then Ocean. Even Oceans.
And then Porch. And then Porch.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And then what's it end with?
And then Garden and Release.
Yeah, Garden.
Release. It ends with Release.
Deep.
And Deep. Oh my. No, Deep's on verses.
No, Deep's on 10.
No,
you take it deep. You take it deep.
It's Porch, Garden, Deep, and then Release.
But like Release is a great ending tune.
Remember that, and you know what? The first time I saw Pearl Jam,
didn't they end with it?
They opened with Release.
They opened with Release.
Yeah, okay. It was that was awesome.
So the next one is actually
Ryan's looking it up. He's looking up to see what's out.
No, but isn't there's a song on Verses that's about pushing the needle in too deep.
Oh, that's Blood.
Blood. I'm sorry. All right. I'm sorry.
Sean, it's 9:44.
Yeah, Jason's running a little behind. He texted.
All right, good. That works out for me. So my 4th album is probably one that if I in retrospect I probably wouldn't put on there after listening back to it. Still a great album. Tool.
Enema. I had Enema on my list. That album.
This town needs an enema.
I gotta tell you, like I was blown away by that because that was the first Tool album I had.
Right.
And it just and
it starts with
think about how that starts though. It starts with Stinkfist.
You hear the boom, and then it just builds up into this like, or no, it starts with the bow, 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 and then it just all of a sudden rings into this, and it just fucking another one.
That album's just so solid. I mean,
really, that's their best album.
Yeah, you like the next one.
Like Lateralis,
yeah.
Like, to me, my personal opinion, Lateralis is. I'm not taking anything away from Anima.
But yeah, let me just finish up.
To me is like a masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that it was just the opening was a funky drop tune type bass line, and then Maynard starts to sing eulogies after that. H 46 and 2, Push It, Anima,
Hooker with a penis.
Hooker with a penis is on it. Yeah,
when I seen them, they open with that.
Yeah, it's just Third Eye to Close though was kind of maybe a little bit like leery to put him in the top 5. Like Third Eye's all right, but it's a really long song. It's drawn out. Yeah. It's got a little bit of a psychedelic start, but I don't know. I don't think it's the best closing song. And then there's a lot of weird shit on it.
Yeah, they have a lot of fillers.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one with the cake recipe in German.
Cake recipe in German.
Yeah. It's got like this crazy fucking beat.
I should close the show with that.
Yeah, you saw intermissions on it.
What's it called?
I forget what it's called, dude. It's called Intermission, I think.
Intermission's the song. Yeah, Intermission's one of the songs. It's called Intermission.
Oh yeah, isn't that the one with the cake recipe in German?
Yeah.
No, it's like you were saying. It's like Kronlein, it's some weird German word probably.
Yeah.
So,
Intermission with Burke.
It's an easy listen to start to finish, but I do remember zoning out from like track 3.
Message to Harry Manback.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it. It's Die Eifer von Satan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Die Eifer von something.
We'll close the show out with that tonight.
But no, close track. So you're at track 3 and you're listening to it. If you don't pay attention for a little bit, you'll look up on your album. It's on track 9 with all the the Don thing, this and that, and then you'll blink again. And it's on 13. It's like
an hour later.
No, it's not even that long. Like there's like these 1 minute things here and there.
Talking about your 5 albums, Mike. The fuck.
You asked me to do homework this time, and this is what you fucking get.
When we do a segment like this, let's announce it on Thursday.
Yeah, you better hope I have a busy fucking Friday. All right, ready? Number 5 is the one that you all are going to give me shit for. Except for maybe Sean, I don't know. Counting Crows, August and everything after.
Mike, I have to admit, I've never listened to a full album from them.
Really?
So no. So I can't. All I know is I hate that song.
What song do you hate?
Round Here.
Round Here? Oh, I love Round Here. I love Round Here.
Round Here.
You're always on my mind.
All right, you know what? You that's your guilty pleasure, I guess. Mine, Jagged Little Pill, Alanis Morissette. Fantastic. That's a fantastic album, man. I don't care what the fuck.
I love
every fucking song on that album.
I'm not gonna lie.
Good, man.
That's a good album, man.
That's a good album.
Yeah.
So
she's a pig.
Yeah, whatever.
You want to kick her out?
Who isn't?
You want to kick her out of bed, Gar?
Hey,
so
don't
yeah.
I'll be right back, fellas. I'm gonna go to Bryce.
All right, you better hurry up. We got a guest coming on.
I like.
Is he on yet? Is he ready yet?
Yeah, he's about to. I think he's ready. So speaking of not kicking someone out of bed, Jason, what's up, brother? Jason Myrtetus.
What's up, Jason?
What's going on, boys?
Jason, how are you?
Doing good, man.
Good.
I like the Jason mask in the background.
A lot of them.
Oh, it's all the hockey masks, yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch up there.
Yeah.
You got some nice sticks. You got some nice pieces of wood hanging behind you, Jason.
Yeah, a couple old twigs. Yeah, you never know. You have to take one and beat a kid with it.
We were just talking about how Donald Brashear got one two-handed over his helmet earlier in the show.
Oh,
yeah, we were. Oh,
you aren't going to damage that dude's head, though.
No, that's like a coconut.
Yeah.
He had a melon for sure. We were talking. It was the anniversary of the Ottawa Senators Flyers game with all the penalty minutes and
the brawl game. Yeah. Jesus going at it. Everybody dropped the mitts.
Yeah. That's what he was talking about. Like Hitchcock gave Jesus the look, and Jesus, popped him.
No problem. He could chuck him a little bit too, Jesus.
He could. Damn, look.
Surprised.
Is it me or Jason's camera like the clearest camera I've ever seen? Like,
it's fantastic.
Is it?
Yeah,
you guys been drinking?
Well,
it looks like you're like in my living room. It's crazy. Yeah, you're.
Well,
like,
he's an important.
I'm not.
Important guy. He's got a lot of high tech equipment.
Not really. It's the camera on my Mac.
Yeah, it's super.
He's the only one that's got an Apple. That's the problem.
How did practice go, man?
It was good. Yeah, they had a good. The kids did all right for a change. Rarity, but it was
yell at them all game.
Our names are I guess because you shrunk the screen. You know what? Let me do this. You guys know how to follow Jason. So if you want to follow Jason, it's at Jason Myrt on Twitter.
Oh yeah, that always shows up there because of some other.
There we go. That way you know who's who. All right. Although you know my voice by now, you should know all voices by now. But dude, thank you so much for joining us, man. Again, as always, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's nice to see you, hear from you again, man. How you been, man?
Doing good, man. Hanging in, enjoying that freaking win last night. I know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was funny. Last night at the 5 minutes into the game, I'm on Monster, ready to post a job opening for pre-intermission and post-game going, I don't even want to talk about this. I'll hire you now. Then he turned it around.
It's speaking of Twitter, people, as they always do, completely over, although they were down 3-0 in no time, and everyone's
it was okay to overreact.
Fuck this, we're turning the game off. And then the same people are retweeting going, well, I'm an asshole.
Yeah, you see I've seen enough. I'm done. This isn't even a playoff team. It's like those highs, and we're a bipolar fan base, right? I don't know what it's like in other cities.
Ryan, Gary, you care to comment?
Yeah, I don't give a shit what it's like in other cities. I don't live in other cities. I never have. So I just know here it's it's extremes. And I think if we could just approach it as a fan base the way you're supposed to approach it as a player, I think we'd all be a lot more sane, which is you're never as good as you think you are, and you're never as bad as you think you are. You're somewhere in the middle, and Jesus, Sam Bradford went 10 for 10 in a preseason game. And I swear I saw people putting lawn chairs out on Broad Street. Right? Ben Simmons hit a 3-pointer against the Chinese national team. They did it again. And it was in a preseason game. It's come on. We got to learn.
No, he hit another 3 earlier this week, man. It's coming back.
No,
it's for real this time.
If it would never existed, is it really coming back? You know what I mean? But we got to realize,
it's kind of
don't
Gary's
get too
life.
crazy when things are great, and don't go too seasons are long, right? There's a lot of games, and some days we go into work and we suck at our job, and other days we go in and it's really easy. And it's the same thing for them. They're humans. And so, you might not get up for a game, and you may come out and you may suck in the first 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that there's bad leadership. It doesn't mean that the team sucks. Good on them. They found a way to turn it into a positive going down early and use it as something that they can start to build an identity with. Because if you don't have an identity as a team, no matter what level you play at, you're screwed.
Yeah. So last week we were talking, and you actually got a shout out last week on our show, because I was like, I got to get Jason on the show, because we were talking about Carter Hart and the struggles that he's been having this year. And of course he has a shutout this week, which is fantastic. I can't imagine what that must do to his psyche. And hockey is about his, well, it doesn't matter who it was against. I don't care if it was against Little Sisters that are poor.
They're NHL players. I mean, they have a former MVP on that team. They had a guy who could have been in the MVP ballot last year, and Jack Eichel. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, and he's they have two guys really. They have a tough power play for sure. But one thing I noticed, and maybe I just wasn't looking at this the right way. Maybe I'm completely off base on this. I just felt that Carter, his position has been okay, but I just feel like he's been crouching down a lot more. Like he's kind of anticipating the shot more, and he's going down in that position a lot more than I ever saw him do before. Maybe I'm missing it. I don't know. Did you see that at all over the last few games, weeks, whatever?
I haven't really noticed him trying to take away the bottom part of the net any more than he normally would, or any more than what I would deem as like proper. What I did notice was in the beginning of the year, in a couple of games against Boston, he got beat on the back door a couple of times. And like goaltending, such a big thing about goaltending and judging goalies, you have to consider their environment because every shot's not created the same. You know, you could sit there, like the Flyers lost to Pittsburgh on Tuesday. They outshot him 42-28. But when I didn't walk away from that game and say Tristan Jarry stole it, because he didn't. He was okay. He was decent. He made, he obviously made 40 saves on 42 shots. Good on him. But the shots weren't high quality. And so he wasn't diving all over the place, making these miraculous saves. So you didn't walk away from that going, oh, man, we should have won that game. The goalie stole it. That's because a lot of the shots were clear-sighted shots from the outside. They didn't give up a lot in hockey, what we call the house, which is like an imaginary thing that looks like a house in the middle of the ice right by the net, a high dangers area, and not a lot of east-west passing opportunities. So a goalie will sit there and take that all day. You'll take clear-sighted shots. You'll take shots from the outside. No problem. That's not shot quantity is never going to wear a goalie down. What wears a goalie down is zone time, engagement, those kind of things, playing below the goal line where you're constantly engaged. That's what wears you down. So it's not that 42 shots, he's got to be tired. No, it's not that. So with Carter, your environment is ultimately what affects you. And you have to have a really short memory as a goalie because you can't let the way you got beat before affect how you attack the next one, or NHL players are going to make you look foolish. So he got beat in the one game earlier in the season where he got pulled, and he got beat on the back door on 3 of the goals. So on his right side back door. Mm-hmm. So later in that game, after he got beat 3 times that way, he gave up the goal to Marchand, and I knew he didn't like it because it was short side. Now, why did he get him short side? Because you're always compensating short side as a goalie. He's off his spot just a little bit because he got roasted 3 times back door. So he's thinking, I got to load my left leg. I got to be ready to push back door. I'm cheating a little bit now because I'm afraid that guy's going to be there again and unmarked, and they're going to bury me again. So he's leaning a little bit and he gets caught. So fast forward to the other game, which happened in Tahoe. In that game, he got beat 3 times short side. This is the adjustment that happens, right?
Yeah.
If you're leaning an inch as a goalie, if you're loaded on one leg more than the other in anticipation of backdoor or the other way around, and you saw he got beat high glove on the short side 3 times in that game, and that's all a byproduct of that. So they didn't play in the next game, and I knew why. They wanted to work with his goalie coach. He's a technical goaltender that's very positionally sound, very under control. His philosophies are real simple. Beat the pass, which means if the pass, the game's east-west now. So he's going to beat the pass, get to his spot, get square, get set up. And if he's in his spot, it's most likely going to hit him, first of all, because you're in the spot and you're set and you're ready to track the play when you get there. That's his game. And if you're just off by a little bit, NHL players, guys like Pasternak, Marchand, Bergeron, they make you pay. And they get you short side. They know you're leading. They can see the distribution of your weight on one leg more than the other. That's how good professional players are. They know when to shoot in a shuffle because you're pushing on one leg. They know that you anatomically can't lean in the other direction. You're moving this way. They shoot the way not where you're going. They shoot where you were, so you can't go backwards because your body doesn't flow like that. Elite players know how to do that. And he just needs to get back to the basics. He did it for that Buffalo game. I didn't think any of the goals in the game on Tuesday were really on him. But, he hasn't been as good as we've expected him to be this year. He's made saves that he probably shouldn't have made, and he's given up some goals that he probably should have saved.
You think he's going to be okay? Like, is this just like?
Oh yeah, he'll be fine.
So it's just getting his fundamentals right and everything.
Yeah, I mean, look, if this happened in the middle of a season, if this was happening from July 10th or January 10th to February 10th, you wouldn't think anything of it. But when you start out a season not meeting the expectation that people had, it's more pronounced. But goalies go through this every year. It happens at some point in the season. There's constantly an evolving for a goalie, evolving they get a book on you, and until you close it and adjust to it, then they're going to try the next thing. And it's constant. And no player in the NHL, even like the great, like generational players, success at that level and success in the National Hockey League is not a straight line. It's not. It's full of peaks and valleys, right? And eventually, as you start to get older and more mature as a player, the peaks become a little higher, but your valleys become a lot lower, and you start to play in that area a lot more. But when you're younger, I mean, he's still only 22. It's hard to find comparables for him because not many guys are in year 3 at 22.
Right.
That's part of the equation.
People are already like, "Oh, is he the next?" Like, I saw that. Is he the next Carson Wentz? I'm like,
it's like this is so silly. Like, I want to beat people over the head with one of those sticks. Like, okay, keep that up, and your self-fulfilling prophecy will happen.
So overall, Jay, like, they've struggled a little bit. They had a COVID thing. They got this third period thing going on that seems like it's gotten a little better since they got the guys back from COVID. Is this team as good as we all thought they were going into the year?
I don't know. It's a good question because they're a good team. Their winning percentage is right up there with the top teams in the league. It hasn't looked good. The process has been a little off. No training camp will do that. They had 10 games in their first 19 days. They really didn't have practice time. And then as soon as their schedule was supposed to open up and have a little bit of practice time in a couple of days between games, boom, they go on a 2.5-week hiatus because of the COVID protocol postponements. Then they come back. They got that Tahoe game. It's supposed to, they're supposed to play that game in the afternoon. They would have had a practice day when they got back. They lost that because it was pushed to night. So they just haven't had a lot of practice time to work on things like power play and PK especially. But they're a team that's starting to show that they're becoming a little bit of what they were last year. Really difficult to play against. They were missing 6 players at one point, key players. At one point you're playing Mark Friedman and Sam Moran at wing. I'm like, what am I watching? So they're starting to get
Tahoe, wasn't it? Tahoe, they had them both.
Yeah.
At wing, yeah.
I'm watching one shift out there. I'm watching Gostisbehere and Gustafson together on the blue line in a pairing, and Moran and Friedman playing wing. And I'm going, I don't even know who the best 2 D men are on the ice. None of them aren't very good.
They still couldn't stop any goals on that shift.
Yeah. There was 4 D men on the ice. None of them could play defense.
and then Friedman scores last night, for Pittsburgh after we waive him. And it's like, really? Like, the fuck?
Yeah. But I think they can be. They're on their way to becoming the team that we thought they were, but they still have a big hole. Like that Niskanen hole's no joke, and that's still, that problem is not solved.
Right. Now, at the beginning of the season, we've seen that the power play was taking a little bit of a surge. The power play has been a problem for the Flyers. We all agree with that. Is that something that they can build on, and will the power play get better moving forward?
Well, you got to practice it, right? The penalty kill was really struggling, and then they dedicated some time to it in practice on 2 days, and had a little bit of an extended practice because they had 2 days between games. And now you've seen they stopped Buffalo. Buffalo didn't score at all in the power play. They were the number one ranked power play. They gave up the 1 goal to Pittsburgh on the power play, but overall the PK is now looking better. I imagine they'll do the same thing with the power play. They have the horses. They don't have a goal scoring problem. They're 4th in the NHL in scoring. So it's not that. It's, you got to work on those things. And when you have players in and out of the lineup, and so many players are out and just got back, like the one thing, the power play is about skill, because you just don't want to go in there, rip shots and bang for rebounds. You have an advantage. So you want to move the puck a lot, right? Because that's where you really can create an advantage and a high danger and high quality scoring chance. But when you first come back after not playing, the hands aren't always in sync with the head and with the feet and everything else. So it needs repetition. It needs some work. And, but I think they have the skill to do it. They absolutely do. If you're 4th in the NHL in scoring, you have the skill to score on the power play.
Just to get back on the Niskanen thing for a second, going into the season, my concern was scoring. I just didn't think, because you had a lot of younger players that were coming, like Morgan Frost was coming up, and a lot of these younger players who actually was playing really well. It's a shame. A lot of these younger players, I'm like, man, where are they going to get the scoring from? Defense, they'll be fine because they were great last year against least amount of shots allowed during the season and all this stuff. And now we're like, obviously, it's no news to anybody. We're seeing what's happening here. It's been the exact opposite. Where the scoring, like you said, the scoring's been fine, and the defense has just been erratic, to say the least.
A lot of it's team defense, though, too. Lane Vigneault talked about it today, and it was interesting because Charlie O'Connor from The Athletic asked him the question about the process and defensive breakdowns, and Elaine's answer was all about the forecheck. So, like, if you're first listening to the question and then the answer, you're going, does he know he's talking about our team defense, not theirs? Because you're going, why is he talking about the forecheck? But he's absolutely right. And here's how he's right. And he's talking about the forecheck and getting pucks deep. And you've heard him several times talk about getting pucks behind their D. When you go in and you're on a rush and you go to get your forecheck going and if you get the puck deep behind their D, now you can establish a forecheck. They run what's called a 2-1-2 split forecheck. For F1 goes to the guy with the puck, takes him. F2 goes right to his defensive partner and takes that option away, the 12-foot pass behind the net. Okay, now he has to go up the boards. As soon as that happens, then the D-man on the point goes right down the boards. The F3 now swings, covers the point. That's the 2-1-2 split forecheck. All right, that's why it's so effective. If you get in on it and do it properly, and they did it last year too perfectly. But if you don't get pucks deep, if you don't get pucks down below the dot or the bottom of the circle or down below the goal line, now all of a sudden the other team's going in transition. And because you run a 2-1-2 split, two forwards are deep, right? And now they're coming the other way with momentum against you, and you don't have wingers to drop back into the neutral zone and there's 3 lanes in the neutral zone. To take away those lanes, they can now come through the neutral zone, enter your zone, usually on an odd man break because you're running a 2-1-2, and that's why the forecheck predicates your defense, and they didn't do a good job of it. It was one of the reasons why they were giving up so many high danger chances off the rush. And you saw the Penguins on the one goal. Konechny did not get it deep. They're going 3/4 of the ice the other way instead of having to go 200 feet. It's a huge difference because they don't just grab the puck anymore and regroup and circle around. They get the puck and they go right back. Mm-hmm. It's a stretch pass right back up the ice. As soon as wingers see a turnover in their D zone, they're shooting up the ice to then stress you and spread you thin.
Is that something that maybe AV kind of makes an adjustment to? Because do you think that's a personnel thing now?
No, it's a detail thing.
Yeah,
it's a detail it's a little detail of the game. Yeah. Like it's okay, guys. We can't flutter pucks into the zone. We got to get it in deep. If we're not carrying it in,
at the end of the game, they had a chance to clear it deep, and instead he barely got it over the red line. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're trying to clear it here. You got like 30 seconds left, and they barely cleared it out. Luckily, they scored at the end to tie it up at the very end. Like,
you got to get pucks deep. You have to get their defense turning their back to the ice. You have to.
So you think with what's going on with them, it's not a personnel thing. Like you think it's an execution.
Yeah, look, defensively, I think they need a top D-man. I think they need a top 4 D-man, and they need to solidify a partner for Provorov. Changing guys from Gostisbehere to Phil Myers to Travis Sanheim to Justin Braun is not good because you can see Provorov thinking because he doesn't have, playing D is a lot like playing offensive line. You need chemistry and continuity so he can just throw the puck behind the net knowing Niskanen there, right? Mm-hmm. If you have a different partner, that guy might set up higher. He might want it in a different spot, You don't have time to think at that level. So I still think they need to make a deal to acquire that kind of guy. And, whatever you have to give up to get him, we'll see. And depending who the player is, obviously. But from an offensive standpoint, they have tremendous depth. They're so deep down the middle, which is so important. You have 5 good centers on the team. You have Couturier, Hayes, Nolan Patrick, who's starting to play a little bit better now. Lawton's a good center, and Giroux can obviously move into the middle as well. So you got a lot of options there. And you have good wingers and guys like Nolan's starting to come around now. He didn't play hockey for almost 2 years. Lindblom's really come around in the last 4 games. And, with everybody back and healthy and slotted properly, offensively, they're as deep as anybody in the league.
Yeah, you're starting to see the fancy passes that didn't go so well in the beginning. The fancy passes are going better now.
Yeah. Yep. That's because everything's dialing in. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, that stuff takes time. Like those are highly skilled, seam passes, and they got to be perfect. And it takes time to be able to get your game in order. I mean, you got to think about it. Usually you see like anywhere between 8 and 10 or 11 preseason games. And it usually takes a team still 10 to 12 games to get into the season to really get dialed in, right? Mm-hmm. This year you had a 9-day camp, no exhibition games, and they wanted these teams to come out and look like they were polished. They weren't going to be polished.
Mm-hmm. Jason, I got a question for you. Going a little bit in a different direction. What's your thoughts on Hexdoll with Pittsburgh? Do you think that he's going to be able to kind of turn them around? Do you think he's going to make some moves to get rid of some of their, older,
I hope he fails his ass off.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously.
My read on it, and I texted with Ron real quick after he got the gig. But my read on it, and this isn't from him, but my read on his availability when he met with the Pittsburgh media, based on what he said, was, "Hey, we're going to do everything we can this year to win. If we see a deal out there that can help us this year, we're going to do it. Then we'll kind of see where it goes from there." So it tells me that he believes the team needs to be rebuilt. And I think that's what he's going to do. He's a builder. It's what he's good at, draft and develop.
Well, they didn't hire him to do anything but build, right? I mean, that seems to be his role. He builds.
No, you weren't. I mean, Jim Rutherford, his predecessor, was a push all the chips in the middle of the table every chance he got. And good on him, because you had Crosby, you had Malkin, and you had Letang, but Malkin's 34, Crosby's 33. Eventually the credit card bill comes due, and it comes with a lot of interest, and they're gonna pay for it because they don't have a lot of picks, they don't have a lot of prospects, and it's going to take some time. It's just a question of, which ones of those three that I mentioned stick around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So speaking, going back to the Flyers, you're saying make a move for, a top defenseman, or like, who do you have in mind? Like, is there anybody you see that could potentially they could trade for?
Well, there's a guy out there now, Matthias Ekholm's his name, from the Nashville Predators, plays over 20 minutes a night. He's a fit, not a perfect fit, for a couple of reasons. One, they ideally like to get a top pair guy to play with Provorov. That's a right shot. He's a left shot. Ekholm is, but he's played a little bit of the right side, so that's good. And the other part is he's got a year on his contract after this, and there's an expansion draft. So whatever you give up to get him, you could be giving up with nothing in return after this year, because he could be selected in the expansion draft. So if you were to give up, say it was going to cost you Bobby Brink and a first, and you get him, and you have him for this year, and you don't win the cup, right? And then even if you do win the cup, doesn't matter. The expansion draft comes and you don't protect them, because you can't protect them. You have to protect Provorov, Sanheim, and Myers. Mm-hmm. And if you don't protect them, and Seattle takes them, then you just gave away a first, Bobby Brink, and you have nothing to show for it. Mm-hmm. I don't know how attractive he would be for a team like Seattle, because he doesn't have a big contract. They're usually looking for bigger contracts to get to the floor. Number one. Number two, are they interested in a 31-year-old defenseman? I don't know.
Right.
But there's a risk involved, no doubt about it. So you have to consider, and you could go, well, all right, then we can go to Seattle and say, we'll give you a second-round pick and you take this player. But now, okay, so now you've given up a first, Brink, a second, and another player to get Ekholm. Mm-hmm. So it's not as easy as it once is. Plus, you're in a flat cap world, so you can't really take on exorbitant amounts of money. Ekholm fixed, he's $3.6 million, so you could fit it. Other guys, you can't. And trading away, like, well, let's give him Gostisbehere. Well, they don't want that. They want to rebuild. They don't want a $4.5 million guy that is scuffling along and has been a healthy scratch. Yeah. They want prospects, and they want draft picks, guys that don't have a price tag attached to them that's going to cost them a lot of money.
Yeah, I keep seeing his name floating around as well. I think he's the hot name right now.
It's obvious they need to rebuild, so he's an obvious name. They're not going to trade Yossi, not that you could fit it anyway, or Ryan Ellis. So,
what are you drinking? What do you? That's the most. This is the most important question I'm going to ask him. What are you drinking?
Nothing. I just got home.
You had a beer. What do you?
I was drinking a Diet Coke earlier. I got a bunch of this guy sent me a bunch of beer called Poke Check. It's this
what
from some brewery up in Lehigh, McCall Brewery.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff. I sitting over there on my table.
Well, go get one.
Yeah, what do you?
It's not cold.
Ain't nothing like a good poke check.
That's right. I busted out the poke check a couple times in beer league this week. My one guy on my team's like, "Where'd those come from?" Like, I went old school on y'all. I got a guy on a poke check on a breakaway.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I've been watching Hexdoll videos.
Yeah, good poke.
That's awesome. No, I thought you were drinking something earlier. Yeah, you're right.
No.
It's nothing.
Just chewing and hanging out.
There you go, man. Now we as always, man. We appreciate you you coming on. You know what? Not to break away from the sports for a second, but maybe it's not a bad thing. Right before you came on, we were talking about, and if you want a couple of minutes to think about it, we can talk about something else in between. The 5 albums that blew you away when you first heard them, completely blew your mind. The first time you heard them, you're like, "Whoa!" Not necessarily your 5 favorite albums.
The ones that just blew my mind. Oh, it's pretty easy.
Blew your mind.
I can think of. I can probably come up with it. Okay, so the first one was Blizzard of Oz.
Ooh, oh, you just
1983.
Gary's
Yeah, that was like, holy cow, this is crazy. Just the cover of the album was like, whoa. Ozzy there holding that cross. It was like, oh my God, this is so wrong, but so right. So Blizzard of Oz, absolutely one of them. The Wall from Pink Floyd is another one. I'm a little younger, so like Dark Side didn't hit me like The Wall did. It gotta be, I guess it's probably Master. Master Puppets. It's my favorite band. It's not my favorite Metallica album, but that's probably the one.
And Justice for All, right?
Yeah.
Well, the thing was, we were talking about this, Jason, and I'm sorry if I'm putting words in your mouth, but what makes a song like an album blow you away is the opener, and the opening to Battery is just unbelievable.
Yeah, just the acoustic, the drun, dun, drun, it's like, whoa, fuck. And then they just continue to pummel you for the rest of the album. You know what I mean?
Like it just keeps going straight through. Battery, Master Puppets, the thing that should not.
Yeah, it's just. Then you get Sanitarium. I mean, I know the songs in order: Leper Messiah, Disposable Heroes is fucking off the charts. Yeah, Orion, and then Damage. I mean, it's so good, right? Yeah. So probably Master. For me, it wasn't Vulgar. It was Far Beyond Driven that blew my mind and just exploded my brain hearing Dime on that album. It wasn't Cowboys for me. It was Far Beyond Driven. When I heard Far Beyond Driven, I was like, Strength Beyond Strength.
I agree with that too. Yeah.
Like I'm actually not a huge fan of the Cowboys from Hell album, but
yeah, it's a little cheesier, right?
Yeah.
Like there's some cool stuff. Like Hollow's got like a cool melodic thing to it, and Cowboys, the song is good. Domination's a good tune, but when I get to like Strength Beyond Strength and Throes of Rejection and shit like that, like
Slaughtered.
Oh yeah. Just Slaughtered's just ridiculous, right?
Friend last night while you slept.
Yeah, it's just so good, and Dime is just so chunked out on it. It's so good. So that one for sure. What other ones kind of? I guess I got one more, right? I'm trying to think of something like non-metal that kind of blew me away.
Yeah, Dr. Dre, The Chronic was on my list.
Yeah, that's not on mine.
Gotta be honest. Well, you think you're a wall.
I mean, one that really I think is a perfect album. We used to call these Sega albums when I was in college because you could play Sega Genesis for like 5 hours and you wouldn't have to fast forward through any songs. Dirt from Alice in Chains.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
It's just so good. I mean, from Them Bones, and I think Sick Man's the best song on the album.
Nice.
Hate to Feel.
Love, Hate, Love. Right? Is that on Dirt?
Love, Hate, Love's not. No,
it's not. That's on Facelift. Yeah.
I mean, but you have the song Dirt. It's
God's
so good.
on that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
It's one of those ones where you're like, you tune your guitar down a half step and you just play the whole album. It's just so much fun.
Yeah. Right. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I didn't even think about Allison when I did mine.
I thought about the Unplugged a little bit.
Which one?
The Unplugged album.
I know it's a good one.
Yeah, it's
Lane's so good in that performance that it's like eerie how good he is in that performance. I mean, one of the greatest lyrics of all time is the one from the open Nutshell.
Nutshell.
Yeah, I mean, Man, it's just this awesome stuff.
Another
What a
great,
great-
like talking about
great song to open.
Yeah.
Yeah, great song to come because they all come out at once because they're all playing their in particular parts, and they all come out and they all. That's a great opener.
Yeah,
for
Lane
sure.
just sits down and starts going, and you're like, "Holy fuck!" It's like he's just speaking. He's so like he was just so like chill.
Yeah.
But then when he opened his mouth, it was like, "Holy shit!" There was no straining. It was just like
No, like he's
perfect.
sitting there and he just, and then this amazing note. Like,
Oh, he was
completely
so
effortless.
good.
Completely
Yeah,
effortless.
Yeah, he was so good. And you know, I always look at lyrics from songs like that. I have a bunch that that like I find like that are like insanely great lyrics, right? Like there's actually a Pearl Jam song I think is a great lyric, but the line from Nutshell is, I think he says, and yet I find repeating in my head, if I can't be my own, I'd feel better dead. I mean, it's a great line. Like, you know what I mean? And the Pearl Jam one, I know that I've lived, I know that I've died. The in between is mine. So that's just a great line.
So the like lyrics like blow you away. Are you a Nothing More fan?
No, I'm not.
No.
You want to get into a lyricist? They're a great band, man.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I've listened to a little bit of it, but I haven't really spent time with it.
Okay.
Like I'm so stuck on the same music. Like I haven't listened to anything new in forever. You know what I mean?
That's me.
It's
Like,
like,
the 2000s don't exist.
Yeah, my wife's like, "What? You listen to the same shit all the time?" And I'm like, "Yeah, well, I like what I like."
Yeah, I mean, like Ryan was saying. Actually, I listened to that album yesterday. Ryan, "Stories We Tell Ourselves" by Nothing More.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, it's just every song has a story. Like, and they don't. God, it's so good, and the music's so good, and they don't do anything too crazy, but enough where it drowns out the lyrics. You know, you can hear everything crystal clear, and he has a great voice.
Yeah, his voice is
It
like
might take a little time to get used to, because like when I first listened to him, like
An acquired taste. I'll tell you what other album blew my mind was System of a Down's first album. Speaking of an acquired taste, like I heard that the first time I ever heard it, it wasn't even out yet. I was pretty tight with Dez. Do you know Dez Fafara from Cold Chamber and the singer Devil Driver?
No, the band, but I don't know. Yeah.
They were on Roadrunner and they were touring around with like Ozfest and all that stuff back in the early 2000s. And I knew Dez really well. And we were partying one night and he was playing it. I'm like, who the fuck is this? It was like the Dead Kennedys meet fucking Slayer. And I'm like, what is going on? And I didn't like it at first. And I had a long ride one time. And I just listened to the whole album. And I'm like, it just fucking like clicked. I'm like, fuck, this is brilliant, you know? And I fell in love with that album and that band. And
that's another album with the opener Sweet Pea.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet Pea,
yeah.
I tell you what,
and then No is the second song. It's so good. I mean,
you ever know why?
Matt and Huggy played that one night on YSP, obviously, and they were like, "All right, we're going to play something here. We don't know how you're going to take it."
Yeah,
and
it's different.
They played Spiders by And I remember I was working night shift, and I went, and I was glued. I'm like, "What the fuck was that?" And
so
they were like, "All right, we know that was different, but let us know
if it's good."
Everyone's like, "It was great!" I was like, that's pretty cool. That's a good pull right there, man.
Even like the second album comes out, and it's got Prison Break on it, and the prison, and then like the hits that were on that album with Toxicity and all that shit. But and then when the Mesmerize and Hypnotize album came out, like I was like, holy fuck, man! Like Darren dialed in his musicianship and chunk, and you could hear his influence more and more, where it wasn't as raw and just Surge. It was a lot more Darren, which was real melodic and fucking trippy. Like he was a maniac. And
Surge's new solo song, I don't know if you heard it yet, is he has a solo album coming out. That song was pretty freaking good. I'm like, it's weird. It sounds like an album that should have been on the first System album, or a song that should have been on the first System album. And apparently he's writing these songs, or all these songs that are coming out on this album were written for System. And
like they were intending to doing another System album, and they can't get together. So he said, "Fuck it, I'm putting these out."
Yeah, there's a lot of fucking weirdos in that band. Like Darren's a fucking weirdo, but he's a great musician. I
So-
can listen to Scars on Broadway.
I haven't
It's good
gotten to
stuff.
see it yet, but that's one on my bucket list. That's a bucket
Oh,
list.
I've seen him so many times. They're so good.
Yeah,
live, though.
I've seen him 3 or 4 times. It's blown away. Like
Awesome. Yeah. Surge is great live. He's like, holy fuck, this dude. Look at his fucking crazy hair. Weird looking dude. I played basketball with him at Ozfest backstage one day. It was hilarious. Yeah. He was awesome.
Is it like is he a good ball player?
Yeah. Yeah. He's a good athlete. He's a good soccer player, too. Armenian.
He's in your face
Yeah.
like what?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he's great. Yeah.
I'm gonna crush you.
He's like, oh, like, he makes some weird fucking noise. Oh, you know, it's like, what's going on? He like breathes in air and makes a sound.
It's like it's a Chappelle stick. Prince. Yeah, they're playing with Prince, but instead of Surge, he's like, doing
Yeah. Classic, man.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, something you just mentioned earlier, and I lost my train of thought. There was a band you mentioned earlier, and I was like, oh, I want to talk about that, and I forget. It'll come to me. It'll come to me for sure.
Yeah, we totally went off the rails. We're talking Flyers. All of a sudden, we go totally into music.
Oh man!
Welcome to the show.
Yeah,
but I feel like when he was coming on, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to ask him that question.
That's been like one cool thing about the pandemic is like being at home all the time. And I'm in my studio in my house now. I have like a whole studio space, soundproofed and everything. And I just got back into playing because there was so much time on your hands. So like I didn't, I would pick up the guitar as much as possible, but it was just difficult with 3 kids and the whole thing. And then I got into like amp modelers. And like I've been searching my whole life for the fucking Injustice for All tone, right? Mm-hmm. Like I know how to play that whole album, but I never played it with the tone. And I found this amp modeler called it's a Bias FX2 by a company called Positive Grid, and they have this amp match technology, and they have a tone cloud. And like I can put a track in there of Metallica's guitar track, and then it'll build it for me exact. And I can just download this tone, and it's got the amp heads and the fucking speakers and the compression and the distortion and the scoop and the MIDI. And I fucking hit the note, and it's Justice.
Yeah.
I'm like, finally, fuck, I can play this, and it sounds right.
So Injustice for All, there's more treble than there's probably a lot of bass in that too because they cover up for the
bass is way high. There's no mids.
There's no mids, which is typical.
Totally scooped out. Yeah.
Yeah, no mids. A lot of like more than halfway treble and almost all the way bass, right?
And not nearly as dirty as like Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning. They started to scoop a lot more in Master. Totally scooped it out in Justice big time. And the Black Album, they just got a little more fat, more
they added more layer
tone to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I have every one of those downloaded. Like if I want to play, Don't Tread on Me, I have that fucking tone. If I want to play, the beginning of Sanitarium, that clean tone, right? Fuck, I got that. I have them all.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
then I'm really big into Tool too, like guitar wise,
Mm-hmm.
just for the time signatures and everything else. And like Numa is the song. I'm like, I gotta figure this fucking song out.
Yeah.
So I went on, got the tone. Had the exact order.
Is that how it's pronounced? Numa? I was like, like pneumonia, like
yeah, it's Numa.
Numa.
It's a lyric in the song. Numa.
Did you? Yeah, you're right. Dumbass. Did you watch the video of Danny Carey playing that song?
Oh yeah,
live. I'm like,
ridiculous.
This fucking guy.
He's playing like 3 songs at the same time.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
the synth breakdown part where he's just like he's doing something over here in a different time signature. My
brain can't function that way. I can't do that. Like, I don't have a camera turned the right way, but a couple guitars. And I got an electronic drum set over here. And I tried to mess it. I'm like, nah, I'm done.
You got some boxing memorabilia over here.
The only thing he doesn't do in that song is play anything in 4/4. Everything's in 7/9.
Like
switches at the drop of a dime. It's like, what is going on?
Yeah,
but he's unreal. Yeah, he's
Lateralis is the first album that I heard when they really took that to another level.
Yeah,
and then they did a little bit, but that Lateralis,
Anima a little bit like Eulogy and Anima and 46 and 2. got kind of into that where they were going. Then Lateralis, they took it to the next level. Then Parabola, and I mean, there's
that's simple
that's much
hi-hat work and that and Parabola. I'm like, how do it drives me, actually it hurts my head. Like I'm like, how did they
his hi-hat's in the middle of his set.
Right. Yeah.
It's not even off to the side.
Weird. Yeah, nah, forget it. I'm good.
That's our best bet.
Yeah, like you see guys like that, and you're just like, I don't even want to pick up my instrument. I just want to go home and just.
That's the thing. I try to play it along. I'm like, I just put my sticks down, I turn the thing off. I'm like, I'm done. I'm going back upstairs.
Yep. Because what I'm doing is not anything near what he's doing.
That's pretty cool, though, man.
Yeah.
No, you're dead right though, man. Because during the pandemic thing, you got a little more home time, a little more.
Check out my fat ass on the treadmill or something this time.
Yeah. I like live in my studio now. It's like an apartment. I have a fucking. I got a futon that I haven't put up into a couch in forever because I sleep on it every night. And I got one of those like 4-inch mattress toppers, like memory foam things. But like my wife goes to bed at like fucking 8. So like I used to watch TV in the bedroom on my iPad with headphones. But I have a big screen in here, so I'm like, fuck it, I'll just stay down here. So I sleep down here every night. It's fucking great.
Hey, you're reliving your teenage years, man. You're playing music at late.
Fucking apartment. I go upstairs, get all the kids to bed. I come down here, and I got fucking 7 guitars in here. The dime bags over there on the wall. It's great.
You get to watch TV. You don't have to rub feet, and you don't have to talk.
Nope. And I get the whole bed to myself, brother.
There you go.
She's sleeping like a fucking champ up there. I'm sleeping like a champ down here.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There you go.
And it's cool because like if like it's 11 o'clock at night and I feel like just fucking picking it up and playing, I do.
You got a fridge down there? Keep your beer cold?
Right below me.
There you go.
I'm basically in my garage. My garage has 20-foot ceilings, and my father-in-law is a contractor, so we built a loft in it that's totally insulated, heated, the whole thing.
Nice.
Fucking right.
Yeah.
You're in Delco, right?
Chester County, Westchester.
That same thing.
Believe me, it's not.
No, it's not.
Believe me, it's not.
Fucking Delco.
That's cool, man. How's the pregame and how's the Flyers pregame postgame show treating you? How's everything going with that, man? You still enjoying it?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I do all the road games from right here, which is awesome.
Okay. Because I was going to ask you if you went to Tahoe. I wasn't sure if you were lucky enough to go.
Yeah.
Do you do like with that backdrop?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I do all the road games from here. I do the home ones at home in the building. So it'll be nice on Sunday when there's actually fans back.
Yeah, how
it's weird being there without it.
How you feel about that? Like,
I'm glad. Thank fucking God, right? I mean, here's how I would like kind of equate it. We all go to the shore in the summer. We get out on the shore, right? So you get down the shore in the summer and you look at the beach where you get a fucking Wildwood, Sea Isle, or whatever. There's all these people. It's like totally alive, right? And then you go down there in the winter and you walk on the boardwalk and you see the same beaches, same fucking ocean, and there's nobody there. It's just dank. That's what it's like being in the building.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
It's fucking depressing.
Kind of eerie.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like, geez, this place was so alive 6 months ago in July. Now it's fucking cold and miserable, but it's still, everything's the same. The first wheel's still there. It's not moving, but everything's still there.
I can't wait to hear like even 3,000 fans how loud they can be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be wild.
Yeah. Look, I hope that the buildings are full as soon as possible. I can't wait.
So, Jason, do you enjoy not traveling or do you miss traveling?
I only limited traveled anyway recently because of my radio gigs, but I like being on the road a little bit, but it's been fine. I don't mind doing it from here. There's advantages to doing it from here for sure.
Yeah.
Jay, what's one of your most memorable interviews?
Interviews? Well, I remember I was talking to, God, this is probably like 5 years ago. Chris Vandevelde was in between periods. Not the greatest player. It's not the interview. That's not the part that's going to be good. But it was when Bundy was doing in between the benches, Chris Terrian. And I'm in a room right off the tunnel behind the Flyers bench called NBA 1. And Bundy, that's where Bundy would come in between periods. That was where we all hung out in there. And interviewing Vandevelde off the ice, and Bundy always came in like a minute later because he was coming from in between the benches. And he comes walking in. And as he walks right by us, he just goes and just fucking farts so loud. I mean, it goes over my mic. And we just couldn't even continue the interview. Vanderbilt was like, how do I even go forward? I'm like, just get out of here. And Bundy's just dying. And he was always doing shit like that. But that was a good one.
That's fantastic.
And the other one was when Hartnell was on the team. Like one thing people don't see is what happens like even after a shift when a player goes down the hallway, because they're usually going down there because they're pretty friggin' irate at themselves usually. And you'll see players walk down there and just smash sticks and just go nuts for a minute and then go back out, you know? But I asked for my guest with like a minute left in the period I tell the guy from Flyers PR who it is, who I want. And I usually don't know who it is until they actually come in though. But I'll say, hey, so I said, hey, Zach, get me Scott Hartnell here. So he goes, all right. And Scott's on the ice at the time. And he takes a real bad penalty with like 10 seconds left in the period, like dumb penalty, right? So he comes in and Zach's the doorway and waves Scott in. Scott comes in and he just takes his stick and 2x4s my broadcast desk. And I have a brand new freaking can of Coke sitting right there. And he nails it. And the can isn't even open, it just explodes. Copenhagen everywhere. And I'm like, all right. He's like, let's do it. And we did it. We did the interview. It was fine. So I come in the next game and I'm sitting in there getting ready. And
was he getting you a nice Diet Coke?
he comes walking in and he's got like this sheepish look and he just walks over to my table and goes and gives me 3 cans. He's like, here you go. That's a stand-up dude right there.
How about the story that came out? I'm sure you know his background. You work with Bundy and stuff, but the story that came out with Bundy or about Bundy and what he's doing now and everything.
Yeah.
That was an amazing write-up, amazing story, and I'm glad he's doing well, man. Chris,
yeah, he was in a tough spot for a while, and I saw it up close. He was not in a good place, and I'd known he was doing this for a while now, for at least 6 months, and he was just like, just keep it quiet because I just want to kind of announce it on my own and kind of get it out there, and once it's the right time, and he's putting a lot into it. He's going to be good at it because he's a good dude, and I think he can help a lot of people. And when people see, we look at pro athletes like they're not human. They're almost like superheroes or characters, but there's a lot of guys that are dealing with that are professional athletes, and there's a lot of people just with the pandemic that are dealing with it. And when they see a guy that they look up to like that was a professional athlete and seemingly had everything to going right in his life, money and fame and being a pro athlete, and still struggling, I think that can help a lot of people. So I'm really proud of him. I'm really glad that he's doing it.
What exactly is it? I'm sorry.
He bought into and owns now a recovery center in Fishtown.
Shit.
Yeah, and he's a recovering alcoholic. So
I know he was like, I knew that. I didn't know he bought a recovery.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man.
Yeah. So he was in a bad way, and he just let it. A lot of things happened at kind of the same time for him, where he, they had the lockout. They missed that entire season. That was not good for him at that time, and he lost his sister suddenly to a heart ailment. And it was his only sibling. It was his best friend, and that just sent him into a spiral, into a lifestyle that was unable to be. It wasn't healthy. And he realized it, and he kind of went back and forth for a few years. He'd go be sober for a while and then fall off, and like a lot of people. And but now he's doing a lot with this recovery center, and they're going to help a lot of people.
Addiction is a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one thing like about our since we've been doing the podcast. That's one thing we've learned. Like I've been fortunate, but unfortunate at the same time. I grew up being able to meet famous people and stuff because my youngest sister was sick with cancer, and so we went to a lot of fundraisers and stuff like that, and all that stuff. But even that, I wasn't able to really grasp, and you kind of it's true. Like you lose reality, you lose the sense that these people are human beings. And we've been doing the podcast, and it's even something as silly as we do, what we do. You know, we drink beers and we talk to people and we hang out and we laugh and we make inappropriate jokes and we do all this, talk about Chris Terry and farting. But all this stuff is the truth. Like you feel like, you know, Brett Myers. We had Brett Myers on several times with us.
Mm-hmm.
And you find out more about the person every time you have them on. Yep. You, Jason, every time we have you on. I mean, you know, when we first met you, I only knew you as the guy on the radio with the pretty cool voice, you know, and you know, got to know a little bit about you and you know, Lenny Dyke. We've had Dykstra on several times. And all right, you know what? That's a bad example because we still don't know anything about Lenny Dyke. No, I'm
still banana.
You know everything.
Well, he's a different person every time he's on.
I brought him up for a reason. I was only kidding. I brought him up for a reason. Lenny he's improved big time since the last time.
Like, I mean, there's a public perception of people based on what you see, right? And they perceive that as, you know, they got to realize too, like, as radio performers, like you're a certain way on the air. Like a lot of the guys that I've worked with over my career, they have a perception of what they're like on, you know, people think they are off the air what they are on the air, and they're not even close. It's almost like you're playing a character because you're performing. And yeah, I mean, so you're entertaining and everything's heightened and it's different. But yeah, I mean, you're right. You know, athletes and people in broadcast and people that you think have it all together, a lot of times don't. There's a lot of insecurity that comes with being a public figure. You know, there's a lot of ego that comes with it. It's a rare combination, but it's very prevalent. High ego and tremendous insecurity. They don't seem like they'd go together, right? But they do. they really do.
Well, I mean, the ego feeds the insecurity. Like the
the insecurity feeds the ego is an overcompensation.
You want to be the best, and if you're always striving for the best, if you feel like you're not the best, and it's eating at you, and that's the insecurities.
Yeah, I mean, and as a radio guy, like so many years, like in the beginning of your career, you're doing everything to be everybody that you listen to and like, and you're not being authentic. But eventually, you hopefully get to the point where you can just say, you know what, I don't give a shit anymore. I would take elements of guys that I listen to and I like, and it's part of what I do. But I have to be authentic because eventually, if you're on enough, if you're not authentic, I think people are smarter than you think. They see right through it. It's all phony. I mean, if you're being phony, and there's a lot of phony guys in Philly.
Oh, dude, to it, and you point out a guy that's on the air that's sitting there like, all right, what's the worst angle I could take on this? It's going to drum up controversy.
Yeah, I mean, look at Joe Giglio. I mean, it's a freaking disgrace to the industry.
He's literally the person that.
Thank you.
Yeah. I got banned. Our Corner Pub Sports. I don't have. I used to have a personal account. I got rid of it. Our Corner Pub Sports account got punished, banned for a week because I went after him. Yeah, basically, when Wentz was traded, he goes, "This is the greatest day in Philadelphia history."
Yeah,
I said something about. I literally quote. I hope you choke on a bag of Richards. Yeah. And he reported it and got me banned for a week. I'm like, you fucking like now. I'm like,
what a pussy to fucking report that first.
Right. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So I'm glad. I'm glad you mentioned that.
I mean, I think it just makes the industry look bad. I think it makes the industry look bad because that's where it's gone with these stupid hot takes and. You know, that Elliott Shore Parks, the fact that he wrote that he thought that he could score a touchdown in a football game or make a shot in an NBA game, or I don't forget what the other one was. Hit a baseball.
Hit a baseball, and he couldn't even do that.
Oh my God. There's no way. Like, I might be able to hit a shot, like if I got lucky in a basketball game.
Yeah. I mean, if a guy's guarding you, you got no chance.
No, right. Like there's none. Like on a playground.
That's the guy who watches an NCAA wrestler, a Division I wrestler, and goes, "Oh, I was a decent wrestler in high school. He could not pin me." Yeah, okay. Right. That guy would pin you in literally 4 seconds.
Like, you know, do a fall away shot or something and get lucky.
And the people, people that were ribbing on Nate Robinson for entering the UFC ring, and he gets knocked out. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, more fucking power to him. First of all, he's a professional athlete. He's already got kudos over, and he gets in the ring with someone who's a trained fighter. Good for him. And he actually took it well. He took the ribbon pretty well, but nah, like doing
He
this
did get-
helped with that. Like,
He got
He
bumbled.
did get knocked the fuck out though.
he did, but
That was
you know,
entertaining.
so
Yeah.
any of us probably would have too. You know,
Oh, yeah.
like I mean,
I watched a 135-pound wrestler at Penn State tie an All-American linebacker who was drafted by the Chicago Bears up in a knot in 6 seconds.
Jesus, yes,
Wow.
A kid named Sanshiro Abe. He was a Japanese wrestler at Penn State in the early 90s. He took Brian Gelsheiser, who was an All-American linebacker on the 94 team, and tied him in a knot in 7 seconds, choked him out. It was outside of a fraternity. I was like, oh, my God. And literally, Sonny weighed 135 pounds at the time.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, Geltz was like a 250-pound linebacker. He just had no idea what was going to happen to him.
Gary, can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, Gary's talking and he's like, he's doing all these things.
Some of your best work, Gary.
What are you saying?
Every once in a while, you got to take one in the chin.
There you go. Yeah, man, I tell you, but it definitely has gained an appreciation, you know, for sure of all that stuff. Like you know, just the talent that's involved and the skill level and all that stuff. And people, I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy. I forget where I was going with that. Oh yeah, just basically the human element. That's I guess that was how it started this whole conversation. Is the human element of all these people and players and just that people are so obnoxious and rude and they take advantage of people and they don't realize
Twitter world.
It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. It's a cesspool we're living in right now for sure.
Yep, big time.
Yeah, the best thing you could be is more outraged than the next person over anything.
Yeah, just let's see who can say the dumbest shit, right?
Yeah,
Kissing contest.
Kind of reminds me. Off the air, I'll ask you about something, Jason, if you don't mind. But I'm not going to ask you on here. But yeah, man. With that being said, I mean, we kept you over an hour here, and as always, we completely just love you coming on, and it's always a good time with you, and
always.
Yeah, we appreciate it, and we're glad you're able to do it face to face. So
yeah, virtually face to face.
Yes, for sure. And
we have a cool, chill, laid back type show too. That's kind of cool too. Probably a little bit like off the beaten path from what you usually do. So
yeah, usually we're like completely hammered. We can't understand anything we're saying at this point.
I was wondering what condition you boys would be in when I got on.
Well, I'm starting to get there. I don't know about the other guys, but I'm starting to get there.
Gary buckled her eye
like 6 hours ago.
Gary's already.
No wonder Gary's sound's not working. It's under a bottle of Jameson.
Yeah, I would do it. Gary got a promotion, so he's celebrating.
Oh, nice! Congrats.
Yeah, nice bro. So
beautiful.
So, Jason, thank you so much, man, as always, for
no
joining
problem.
us. And this is an absolute treat.
But
So.
when we're able to do this shit in person again, man, we would love to get you like live in the studio, man. Like
yeah, absolutely.
Studio, one of our remotes, if we ever do it again.
Yeah, like just get you live with us, like it would be awesome, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, we'll meet you in Delco.
That's fine. Halfway to hell.
Yeah,
we'll come to your basement and do the show.
Do you remember
I'll
doing
check with the boss?
just pull out another futon so we can.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Other guitars going.
Oh, dude, that'd be awesome. Do you? I don't know if it wasn't the last time you were on. It's probably a couple times before that. But you recorded this for us. So we actually opened the show with this tonight.
Hey, this is Jason Myrtetus from 97.5 The Fanatic and the Stick to Hockey podcast. And you're listening to the drunkest, craziest motherfuckers this side of the Mississippi. On Wildfire Radio.
Nice.
Let's update it.
That's what
Can we get a new one?
Yeah, we got to do
that's
a new
one
one.
of my yeah, you want? It's up to you, man. Because that's one of my favorite.
I'll send you one.
Yeah,
I'll send you one.
All right, sounds good.
Nice.
I
the
love
quality of that blows.
Yeah, you're on the phone.
I gotta do like my Don LaFontaine, like my fucking movie trailer voice.
In a world, one show. It's more fucked up than anyone. This is Corner Pub Sports.
That whole thing,
Dude, you might have to.
Jay,
sack up,
Jay, before you go, can you do me a favor, please?
Sure.
Can you do Gargano?
What do you mean, Bo? I didn't know I was going to have the whole crew with me tonight. You know, with him, everything is two things. Oh, you're the best. Or, you're the greatest. You're the best. No, it's beautiful. You're the best.
I got one.
Chop it up.
Can you do Dwayne's from Swedesboro?
I wasn't Dwayne, so I can't do that one.
Oh, you weren't? I thought that was.
I wasn't
you.
Dwayne. No, that was Egan.
That was Egan doing Dwayne?
Yeah, that was Egan.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I remember driving. I'm like, who the fuck? This guy's fucking nuts. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah, no, that was not me.
Okay.
I cannot claim that one.
But you were aware of it going on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I thought that.
I've been doing a lot more Bernie Perrant these days. That's my new one. Hey, guys, this is Bernie Perrant. How are you? If the boat is rocking, don't come knocking. My boat is called the French Connection. No, the French Erection. They had an insert erection. Hey, Doc, great save. He's the best.
Oh, man.
Holy shit.
Our best of.
Is that an actual Bernie? Is that an actual Bernie mask behind you?
Yeah.
I thought so.
It was signed, but he signed it on plastic and it wiped off. My kid's like, "Hey, look at this." I'm like, "Oh, no." I'll sign it again.
I should
I'll sign it again.
I should got jersey signed by him on this wall here.
Yeah.
Hopefully my kids.
He's absolutely awesome. I love doing him.
It's awesome.
Bernie Perrant. Still hanging out. Still hanging in there, man.
Yeah, he's still hanging. Yeah, he's the best.
Still hanging.
He's only God saves more than Bernie, Bo. Classic.
Oh, man. You still talk to Anthony?
I haven't talked to him in a while. I text with him once in a while, but I haven't spoken with him in a while.
Yeah.
I'm never in the station, the show that I do or the shows that I do. I either do from
here
or
really?
I do from parks. So
okay.
Yeah, I haven't been to the station in like 4 months.
Okay.
I passed by. You probably didn't recognize. Well, I knew who you were, but I didn't.
You wear the mask.
Actually, I was wearing a mask, obviously, in parks. Yeah, I was making a bet the day before the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
Midday, yeah.
Make sure you wear a mask.
Yeah, you got put a mask on that grill.
Now that you see me, maybe next time, if I'm ever over there,
I'm gonna get a primo mask.
What's the face John that he's promoting? This is face John. Yeah, face John.
Yeah, like I'm so tired of John. Like, okay, enough.
Yeah.
Like that jump the shark when jump the shark.
Yeah.
Enough of it. John crap.
Yeah, Parmer John, all that stuff. Yeah. I don't think I never. First of all, when I was in high school, that was a thing, and it's like I didn't even get it then, and then it came back, and I'm like, no, why is this still?
Yeah. And now, like people just like we do everything, we beat it into the ground, and it's beaten.
Right.
The only John I like is the Chamonix Creek juicy. What is it? Ale with nugget.
Today, Junior.
You want a juicy ale with nugget, Mike?
That's exactly what I want.
Oh, there you go. I got one for you.
All right. Bring it here.
Oh man.
It's a wet noodle. It's a wet noodle.
Holy fuck, Gary's buckled.
Look, it's hot. Look at his eye.
I haven't seen his eyeball since I got on.
I was like this, like when we 7:30 we pregame. Gary's been pregame for 2 hours before we even come on, and he's like, I just Sean.
Hey, I'm still awake. That's a blessing.
Yeah, that's true. That's a plus. You're only still awake because Jason Myrtetus is on the show now.
That is true.
It's outrageous.
It's outrageous.
All right, boys. I'm going to run.
All right, brother.
Thanks,
Thanks so much, man. As always.
Be good, man.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
It was a great time.
It was a beautiful night. All right, see you guys.
Take care, oh, that's awesome. Jason Myrtetus. That's cool.
That was awesome.
Gotta take a tip.
That dude, yeah, same here.
That was absolutely fantastic.
Damn, really?
Well, fuck, it's me and you.
It's right, like I'm not gonna leave you hanging. I said I gotta pee, but they will, you know.
Fuck them. We're ending the show.
I forgot you were ending it with the dude. We didn't do popcorn.
Oh shit, you're right. We gotta do popcorn. What are we doing?
Just
we can't end
double it
with
up.
that.
Just double it up next week.
No, we can do it.
No, all right.
Let's do it. Do you have to really piss that bad?
I gotta pee. Yeah. So do you want me to just do popcorn?
Yeah, fucking. They walked away. Thank you,
right.
Dave. Yeah, Jason was great, dude. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was. I had to hear him do a Gargano though.
That was awesome.
What year are we on?
We were on
77?
damn fucking burping. 77.
I'll fucking twist it.
Gary, you got this, or you want me to do it?
What's that?
Popcorn.
Oh, I just got back on. I didn't know we were doing it.
Well, yeah, we do it.
The show's almost 3 hours old.
All right, well, I just sat the fuck down.
Well,
What the
just
fuck?
fucking read it, you fuck.
Fuck you. How about
no,
that?
Fuck you.
You got it, Gary, or you want me to do
Yeah.
it?
Star Wars, A New Hope.
You don't start at number 1
How do you know that's number 1?
because I had it up on the phone.
Because it's 1977. Star Wars was number 1 that year. What else was fucking number 1 in 77?
Who cares?
All right, Star Wars is number 1.
How do
every
you
year.
fucking do it then?
I just fucking exited it. Oh, Jesus
How do you
Christ,
fucking
Gary.
do it then?
Why are you getting all mad?
He's so mad now because he reads it backwards.
For real, man.
Get your paper. Get your
Oh,
paper.
fuck, I just sat down. You gonna do it? You gonna do it?
Gary, I asked you a question. Relax, bro.
Pick up your paper and read
You
it.
didn't ask me a question. You growled at me.
You grabbed
Gary, I
that.
didn't growl at you. Stop.
You did growl at me.
No, he said, "Are you going to do popcorn?"
All right, we ready?
We've been ready. We were born ready, brother. Let's do
Where's
it.
Mike?
Now,
Fuck him. Let's go. He's getting his dad and uncle's lists.
Number 10, The Spy Who Loved Me.
Spy Who Loved. Oh, okay. I never saw it, but I heard. I don't know.
July 13th of 97.
77.
77. I'm sorry, 77. I apologize. Number 9, The Deep, June 17th of 77.
Were you ever in the deep before? Like, were you ever like in a pussy? Like,
Yeah.
fall the fuck in here.
Adele was.
Rolling in the deep.
Here we go. Number 8, A Bridge Too Far. You don't know, you know that. Oh, yeah. That was June 15th of 77.
All right.
Number 7, Oh God. October of.
oh, God.
Oh God.
Oh, God.
Oh,
See? What the fuck?
oh God.
God.
Fuck with my ass, man. Shit.
Oh God.
Number 6.
Just toss the panties.
In search.
Bitch! You fat bitch!
Yo, Mike, I ain't gonna lie. I might get thrown out. My computer's starting to act up.
All right.
That's right. Kick him the fuck out. Number 6.
Why are you mad at me? Why is it always me you get mad at because you're drunk and you fucked up a segment?
I'm not mad at you. Who said I was mad at you?
Fuck you! I'm trying to help you, motherfucker.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, I gotta try to, like, my shit. Oh, wait, I think I got it.
Number 5, The Goodbye Girl, December 21st of 77.
Oh, you fucking pig.
Go home and get your fucking shine box.
My name's Molly. I can't stay.
What the fuck? What is this obsession with you and Molly?
Number 4, Smokey and the Bandit, yo.
Oh, get the fuck. No.
I hate that movie.
So do I, dude.
I hate that movie.
Number 3, Saturday Night Fever.
Fuck that movie too.
Yeah.
Number 2, Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
That's a good movie.
I got a third kind right here.
Hold on, I gotta get. Is number 1 Star Wars: A New Hope?
That's a fucking From Under kind.
From Under kind.
Is number 1? Is number 1 Star Wars: A New Hope?
So you're gonna continue?
How do we know, Sean? How do we know?
All right, then I ain't telling you my fucking honorable mentions. How about that?
All right, what's your honorable mentions, Garrett?
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck you.
No,
Sinbad, The Eye of the Tiger.
What a fucking shit.
You and your fucking Carhartt hat, looking like a helicopter pilot.
Oh,
You.
Orca. Well, it's okay for you to break balls when you're trying to do a segment. I'm trying to do it. It's okay, right?
You're not going to remember this tomorrow. Just read.
Yeah, just.
And my third honorable mention, Slapshot.
Good movie. That's a good movie.
He said,
Dude, he covered. No, he covered the paper.
Perfect.
He covered the laptop perfectly.
That
was awesome.
Garrett, we fight and we argue. I'm so glad you're my brother.
I'm one of a kind, yo.
I gotta say, man, I thought tonight
I'm like a 12-year-old's type pussy, one of a kind.
You fellas, I gotta pee.
Yeah, I thought tonight was going to be a quickie. Man, this is it's one of our longest shows ever.
Jason Myrtetus was great, yo.
Dude, he's on for an hour.
Yeah, we're like, oh yeah, we're not going to get him on until 11. There's no way. Fucking, we're like, all right,
it's 11. It's 11. Yeah, Jesus. Now, great time, guys. Great show, guys. I promised you the cake recipe in German, so here you go in the background. And yeah, I guess we'll see you guys next. What?
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I'm a mess, but good things have happened to me.
Gary, you were actually good tonight.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, you're fine. I was only breaking your balls about the Star Wars thing. I don't care that much, dude.
Well, this motherfucker.
He wasn't coming at you. You get defensive with your brother.
I always do.
You too.
I always do.
He wasn't coming at you. He was just, hey, you're gonna do popcorn, and you got mad at him. And then you read the first. He read number 1 first. And Ryan got on his shit. Dude.
I remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
I drank this whole thing.
Oh man. Good luck tomorrow, brother.
Yeah.
Why you gotta say that?
Because you're gonna be in trouble. Jameson's gonna do that to you. All right, we will see you guys next week.
Hanging out a little bit.
Yeah.
All right.
Corner Puff Sports. See you next week. Thank you guys for watching and joining out.
Peace out.
Fucking shitbags.